just need to clear my head. Can't focus, I can't forget. I've been thinking too much lately. I just need to clear my head. Oh, clear my head. I just need to clear my head. I just need to clear my head. Yeah.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're about to watch some live Valence League League of Legends action, or just catching it back. I'm Cradden, and here for the 4th episode of This or That. I'm here with Trelulu, aka Ruben. Ruben, how's it going?
It's going absolutely excellently, Cradden. I hyped Plague up as much as I possibly could on the last episode. We got 2-0'd. How could I be any happier? Let's get right into the next time for me to hype some people up and then watch them get smashed. On to the first question we go.
Hell yeah.
What is the better strategy in Valence League? Picking a comfort pick or picking a meta pick? What are you thinking, Cradden?
Now, I'm thinking, when it says comfort pick, I'm struggling to distinguish that in my mind from one trick. So we're talking the last Ezreal or whatever it is. The guy will just jump in and one trick, my Zillion, just go straight in and smash the opponents. The problem with that in VL is that gets banned. So you're going to have to resort to your champion pool. And there's probably meta picks in your champion pool anyway. So a comfort pick would be great if the opponents decide not to submit a lineup and lose bans. But if you're really good at your comfort pick, that ain't getting played.
I'll use a bit of anecdotal evidence, right? We on Plague, we're like, okay, guys, we've studied LEC, and by we've studied LEC, I mean our coach watched a couple games and wrote like 5 paragraphs.
Nice.
He got all the stats up, everything. We were just like, okay, let's just play all these champs. I miss every Syndra E. Jay's losing his fucking mind playing all these champs. He's first time in VL. Lordio's chilling, he plays whatever. And our bottom lane, we're also losing their mind. I mean, the 8-week or 8-game Qui Brom streak, it almost destroyed his mental, and I don't blame him. I'm going to have to say that for the mental fortitude it gives you, you're going to have to go comfort picks.
So, yeah, if you're listening, never forgotten the NSK mid laner. Just keep playing that Morgana. Don't worry, it won't get banned.
I'm quite a fan of Morgana mid. I played it in a normal game recently. No leaks or anything, but you maybe see it in VL maybe this Thursday.
Flex picks coming in.
All right, on to the next slide we go. What is the bigger meme? Valence League coaches, I love that blackboard, or Division 4,
Ooh.
aka the LCS.
I do like the clown as well. It's great that they, despite Tent not being in VL Discord, they got him for this photo shoot and put him next to the LCS logo. Am I right in saying that that blue one is the North American one, so they're just clowning on NA? Excellent. So the bigger meme, Division 4, as much as it's fun to watch stuff like the Rammus mid, I think that was Vengeance's move.
Yeah.
Or to watch Hentai Haven just go all in against the Centurion squad and not quite come out too well. It's not really a meme, it's just people trying to play some League of Legends, and they might not be as good as the person watching, but who's to joke about them? They're having the time of their lives, they're all laughing, or Ronnie's making copy pastas in VL. That's not a meme, that's real life, and that's people enjoying League of Legends. Coaches, on the other hand, NSK as an org has about 6 of them, and maybe 3 of them do things. I mean, I'm not going to reveal specific names, but basically, if your team implodes, we're going to grab your coach as well. That's all I'm going to say.
For me, I can't hate on the VL coaches. I mean, the ones that Plague have had that turn up, it's helped us a lot. We had one scrim without last split, without Jack, MCMXCV, Fat Raccoon coaching us. He didn't show up to the draft. We had Lordio do it. Biggest disaster of the entirety of that split. So I gotta say, I'm a big fan of coaches because it means I can just turn off my brain and he says, "Hey Trilulu, we're picking it." I say, "Cool, man, cool." Division 4, on the other hand, I don't know if you watched this Monday. Driggers, Kennen Jungle, and Yasuo Jungle.
Yasuo was the big one, yeah.
I don't think you can come up with a bigger meme than that. I swear to God, he said it's a pocket pick. I looked at his match history. 1 game of full AD Halo Blades Kennen Jungle. Now this is the biggest meme I've ever seen, and it's Div 4. And I lose my mind every time I watch Div 4. And I try to argue with people in Twitch chat, but then I realize, like, what's the point? Because we're all bad. But I gotta say, there's so many questionable things that happen in Div 4 that just make me think this is what VL was meant to be.
I especially love the flowcharts, like they appeared in the Trash Talk server, and I think it was basically jungle builds for Warwick. So someone posted the start, which was the Hunter's Machete, build it into like attack speed or Cinder Hulk, and then I think the next quote was any fucking tank item whatsoever with a giant cross through Iceborne Gauntlet, which was the one built on stream. So yeah, there's a couple of questionable choices in Division 4. I think as far as VL coaches go, the biggest meme I think was whatever happened to WSL with red, green, and whatever's in between. With I think Silverback, like doing B, Steven Snake, everyone claimed like responsibility for being the one that helped WSL win.
Yeah.
So last split I'll say VL coaches, but this split, Group D, Division 4, whatever that bottom division is, it edges the meme contest.
I will say, just because you didn't credit him, shout out to Slackin for the excellent Warwick guide in the Trash Talk server.
Of course.
Just to throw
Cobra.
that out there. All right, on to the next one we go. The bigger upset. Centurion 2-0 in Plague or Deja Vu 2-0 in Claytrons?
That's I wish I knew more about the rosters of DV and CLT, because I was expecting Plague to win, but it's not that big of an upset for Centurion to have won. Like, look at last split, I think they traded regular season and finals. So for a 2-0 to happen, it repeats regular season, and it's not that much of a shock. Whereas I think Deja Vu to 2-0 Claytrons, they were both really in the running. I think they were more dominant than you'd maybe expect in Division 2. I think Arby won that one with a Soraka top, if I'm not mistaken. So I think to play against the Soraka and then lose to it in a 2-0 set, that's enough of an upset. Do you know much about the rosters on that one?
Deja Vu and Claytrons. I know Claytrons,
boys.
but I don't know Deja Vu at all. And I think that speaks volumes inside that. I would say that's a bigger upset. Is I don't know a single player on Actually,
you know what? We've got the
Deja
rosters live. We've got it in brilliant production provided to me. So Deja
Yeah.
Vu, you've got Arbush. We have a playoff buff Wakada Chewy. You have a Jungle Lord Wilder. and you've got Viking and Stronger on there as well. That's a pretty cool bot lane. But then against that, you've got Claytrons with the solid roster. You've got Shenzin, who I think might be in line for an interview later today against OPN. Beeg, Key, Ottery, and Valkyrie. So a very more stable roster that stacked 5. For Deja Vu to 2-0 that roster, who went so well in Division 3 last year, I'd say that's the bigger upset because I think Claytrons have great mental as a team and can bounce back from a lot. I don't think either are huge upsets. They could have happened, but I'd probably say the Deja Vu one.
Yeah, I mean, the CNT versus Plague. CNT got rid of, in the nicest way, dead weight in the jungle role and got in some disgusting fiddlesticks Kindred player. I hate Kindred, and this guy picked it. Anyway, the most upsetting thing about that game was Lulu mid. I saw the 2-0 coming a mile away, but I thought, look, if I give us the hype boost, maybe we'll come into it. Deja Vu versus Claytrons. You named the Deja Vu roster. I can't think of a single player I think is good in that roster. So, so I'd say Deja Vu managing to 2-0 Claytrons. I don't know, maybe keyboard disconnected. Maybe Shenzin's did to lose to Wilder. I don't know. Something had to have gone on here. Maybe a heart attack from one of the players. No idea.
Yeah, I'm guessing no one stepped up to the bush on that one. Either that or Nasus was banned and Beeg was just sat frowning at his keyboard.
He's got to go with the other infinite scalar Scion next time. I don't know what he actually did play. I didn't watch the game, to be honest. But all right, on to the next one we go.
Oh, no.
Thank you. More likely to return to form. Trelulu's, also known as the most handsome man in VL, Trelulu's hairline, or Team Vigorous.
Okay, so let's get the lowdown on Vigorous. They were a really strong team back in the 2 group days of VL. They were pretty much smashing Group B, beating solid teams like Legion and Hentai Haven. Whereas now they're 0-3 in the 2nd division. They've kept a lot of the same players like Ram and Midnight, but they've also brought in ex-TSB member Commodore. They've brought in yourself, Save Lives Green, if I remember correctly. And they got Infires from 1 in 5, so quite a match of players from 1 season ago.
Yeah.
However, they're 0-3, and they've lost against basically the top 3 teams in that division: OP Nerds, Deja Vu, and Claytrons. So to get back into that division and avoid relegation, they're going to have to beat the Slowbros and Fireflies. So with that analysis out the way, what should we meme on about your hairline? Are we going to get a wig soon, or...?
Nah, I'm going to have to just go completely bald. So people can't say anything about hair, I'll just have none.
I'm loving the guns, by the way. Like,
thank you.
That's iron having been pumped to generate that hair.
This is from the first pub quiz, which is now erased from everyone's memory, except for some select rock and trigger quotes.
Yeah,
and
normally
this image now.
Normally, when you mention rock on the first pub quiz, something else springs to mind. So normally people forget about this, but this picture has survived. It's been put on there, and even now you can hear people screenshotting it and photo editing it for their own ends and memes. So yeah, like since you've admitted it, the hairline isn't going to return to form. We're going to have a quarantine haircut. Team Vigorous, they've got a good chance as any team, but at the moment they're in that really tough position where they're going to struggle to take wins, and they now need to. You've just got to put your focus in there. As for Fireflies and TSB, I think they can continue to play well. I don't see Vigorous getting out of the bottom 2. So it's close, but I'm going to say Vigorous.
You know what? I'm so unconfident in Vigorous that I'll say it's more likely that I get a better that my hairline fixes itself.
You're going to be looking like a mumble rapper with a rainbow mohawk.
But, like, okay, I don't know what return to form means for Vigorous, because in my opinion, they've never been that good. They've got some good players. They've kept, I would say, arguably the worst players on Vigorous in Midnight and Ram. And they've got rid of. I don't even remember who else was on the team, but they had to have been better than those two. And yeah, I don't know, but I'm a fan of Infires and Commodore. I think they're both on 1 in 5. Can't
Well,
remember.
I
But,
think you actually took the best player out of Vigorous, and he's now the worst player on Plague. He's Daddy J up in the top lane.
well, things happen, man. I wouldn't say Daddy J is the worst player on Plague.
Nice.
I'll say that. I'll say that.
So who is?
I'm not gonna fight him anymore.
Next question.
Yeah, next question, quick. All right, what is the biggest balance blunder? Akali's rework, able to tank towers by being invisible while hitting people under them, or the Aurelia one shot where I'm pretty sure people played Aurelia rework. Sorry, I was reading the thumbnail there. Where people were literally going like AP, I think, on PBE because their E ratio was so high, or R ratio, or something like that.
Yeah, for me it's the Akali because, well, if we go through each of the two, Akali I distinctly remember, and as someone without hands, I like to play fairly static champs, simple mechanics, and when I played Akali a few times, I realised with the amazing healing you got from Q, a bit of mobility, I actually had the fleeting feeling of, this could be the transition champion for me. I'm playing so well on this champion that maybe I could switch to being a mid laner or a top laner or someone who does lots of 1v1s and it's the champion being overpowered. That's why that was possible. So Akali has a big place in my mind. When I think of Aurelia, I think of the original Season 1 Better Nerf Aurelia memes, and the Aurelia rework stands out, but not as being particularly overpowered. So I'd swing towards Akali from the anecdotal evidence.
Okay. I think with Akali, I'm not too big on. I can't remember. I haven't got the best memory. But the Aurelia, I hated Aurelia before, and she was just such a poorly designed champion. It's like when you're below a percentage of HP compared to your opponent, you stun instead of slow or something like that, and you just healed off every ult. I think reworking her was the right idea. Akali also needed to be reworked, but they somehow made her worse. I absolutely hated playing against Akali. She'd throw a Q at you, and you'd think, okay, what's that gonna do? She'd ulti onto you with her 3 charges, heal to full HP off one of them, pop another one, and you just what can you do? Everything in her kit was targeted. Absolutely hated Akali, and the only thing you could do was pink ward when she put a shroud down. That they thought, okay, we've got the one piece of counterplay to Akali, pink ward. Let's remove that counterplay, make it so even turrets can't see her anymore. What the fuck, Riot? What are you thinking?
We're back to Pantheon 4 Black Cleavers in a row days with that level of OP, but throwing the invisibility, it's Teemo levels of tilt.
I'll say it's Akali just because she needed a rework, and they somehow made her even more annoying to play against. And Aurelia, they made it so that in my silver promos, someone's not going to pick Aurelia and do okay. They're going to first timer it, they're going to int their face off. I'm okay with that. But yeah, Akali rework, annoying as hell. Next slide we go. What is the most likely of these two on during the pub quiz? Me and Ice donate 100% of the prize pool, or Rock gets nude on stream.
By the way, I think the prize pool screenshot they've used, it looks like it's from Dota. Like the text looks like it's from the International.
I think it is, yeah.
So, yeah, nice one, whoever made this. Betraying VL, a League of Legends organization, with Dota 2 graphics. Are you sure you're in a tenable position right now? Get out of here. Either way, Ice and Trololo, I think you lost a significant portion of your wallet that night, but Joycey got bold, so it was sort of worth.
Yeah, so did Valk as well. So.
Actually, yeah, that they might have even done it side by side. Then again, we've also got Drigger in the background, and the less said about that one, the better. So, the other half, Rock getting nude on the stream. We're 1 for 2 on that at the moment. He's now no longer in the admin team, so maybe that will bring out his rebellious streak.
Maybe.
it's going to be requested a lot. It's become a meme. Like he may whip out the 2-incher again, but we don't know if that's going to take place. And yep, I am going to make a small penis joke live on a piece of content on stream. Hi there, viewers. Yeah, I can see more people donating to the prize pool than 2 people. I can't see Rock getting nude on stream again. But if we're going for more likely, we're going to go for the Ice and Trolulu big bank account. Your wallet's going to be empty at the end of quarantine.
Wow. I'll counter your argument with the reason Rock didn't get nude on stream during the second is because 1, it was a lot more tame, and 2, Rock went there. He said, I'm gonna have to dip. I'm saving myself for marriage. He's getting married to this 3rd pub quiz, right?
Excellent.
Me and Ice are donating 100% of the prize pool. We've got an entire team
We
dedicated.
hear the word differential.
So it won't just be me and Ice, but it'll be me, Ice, Rock, and we're still looking for a new member. So guys, if you've got a webcam, if you got alcohol, and if you got some money to throw at all these forfeits, please, I beg of you, just come to our team, and you may witness that option of this or that slide. So that's some incentive for you guys.
And the
Just
big
throwing that out.
question
Shameless
is,
little plug.
does anyone want to see that?
Hey man, well, okay. Alright. But yeah, the more likely I'll go with Rock getting nude on stream. I mean, he's not going to do it on stream because I
Yeah,
don't think
it's
he'll be
like
on
private
stream. but
Discord.
Yeah, in the Discord call. Almost guaranteed. No doubt in my mind. Alright, on to the next one we go. I actually don't know which one the last one is, but which one is better for VL? A focus on content or focus on expansion?
I don't know what expansion means here, and let's discuss a few possibilities. So an expansion for League would be like 5 divisions, expand to Diamond, expand to Bronze, maybe throw TFT or like Legends of Runeterra in. Or
Yeah.
could it be like completely different games? So we've got F1 already. There's a few Civ and Stellaris games going up. Maybe we could have like an online Cluedo League in VL. And I think at that point we'll have jumped the shark a little bit. Content, on the other hand, I don't think that's like a different goal than expansion, because even if there's a VL Tiddlywinks League, I can see there being like an annoying guy being banned bit of Discord flame, or like a podcast a la Let It Rip for Tiddlywinks League.
Yeah.
So I think you can do both. The better one, I think it's probably best to have the content focus and keep the same. But is there anything, Ruben, that you'd want to see VL expand into? Like a game or a sport?
Yeah, I'd like to see a Diamond League so that I can play on my main account in
Nice.
VL.
Same.
Cut
the video.
I don't know. I don't think there's any other game I play than League, so probably not. And I wouldn't be very good at the other games they could expand it. Although, nah. I think doing an official Crowd and Rules tournament, that could be cool. But that's more content. Well, actually, it's not really content, but it's not an expansion either. So
I'll talk to Rock and Blaze. We did the off-season tournament of Death and Doom. We'll see if we
Yeah.
can get a Crab and Rolls one going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the content focus, I mean, more content means more last applications to everything. So I'm happy with just watching all the content. As soon as something appears in that channel, I'm clicking on it, I'm watching it, because I don't watch any of the VL streams unless it's us being streamed and we won, and I want to go back and stroke my ego from all the casters saying,
Yeah,
wow, look
boy.
at how good Plague is. So I don't watch the streams to see any of the content. I check it as soon as it comes into that channel, watch it all the way through while I'm doing something else, or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
even just
happy.
replay the 10 seconds where it says, and that's Trolulu with a double kill, and just have that on repeat while you walk around doing your daily life activities.
Yeah, of course. I get the clip up, I'd save it, I'd leave it there. Name it or flame it, I actually love that, because I play along to it and I get so frustrated when someone gets the questions wrong, because I'm the league trivia master. So,
Wait, have you been on that yet?
no, not yet.
Like, I went 2-all with Charmander, and there's a few that I got let down on, mainly the aesthetic and skin side. I think you should totally pick, like, a member of Centurion or I was going to say Paradox, but we'll interrupt that sentence. Just pick a
Wow.
member of Centurion and like go on, name it or flame it, and then just get all the beef out, even if it's just before playoffs. That'd be cool.
Hell yeah. Maybe. Alright, yeah, but I'm going with content focus. You're going with content focus as well, right?
Yeah, boy. Like
Yeah.
we can't have VLDL anymore because I have a life, but I really love what's coming up with this or that, name it or flame it. And while I'm self-serving shout-out time, Drig's in the background on the call, but I like what he's doing with getting the content in, having some like focus towards content and playing it before each stream because as you say, it's easy for a team to get involved with only their own games and forget about the other 3 divisions or the community. The content that we've got is really good at making people accessible, and it just brings everyone together in that sort of hippie romance sort of way.
You almost brought a tear to my eye, man. But, but yeah, I'll agree. All the content stuff's really stepped up recently. And now, with enough stroking Drigger's ego, we shall move on. The most likely to disband. Is it going to be PDX with a grey background or PDX with a black background?
I don't know if they like this is awkward. I don't know if they've officially disbanded yet, but they certainly took a giant hit to their roster in
Yeah. I mean, all I know is every single player, apart from like 2, posted a looking for team, and then 30 minutes later, Z-Man posted a looking for player. So I think Paradox is staying together.
Yeah, there's
knows?
definitely a shell there, and I can confirm that 2 players are definitely not with Paradox anymore. Well, I'll say
Alright.
no more about that one. But that leaves at most 3 regular players and a substitute. They had Weasel. I'm not sure at this point where Weasel's going to go yet. So they can rebuild. There's enough high-quality Division 1 players out there. But as to whether they want to either leave their teams or jump in mid-season, that's the trick. And with Paradox in a fairly good position in the league, I think they're either 2-1 or 1-2. They're quite an attractive proposition. It's a chance to test yourself at the highest level. I would be sad to see PDX disband because they've been a really nice org over the few splits, and I love a lot of the players that are on there. I do want to see them come back together, although on the flip side, I'd love them to disband because then NSK don't get relegated. See ya.
I mean, yeah, I share a lot of the same thoughts. I quite like a lot of the people on PDX. I like their logo to an extent, but at the same time, I absolutely hate it because I can't look at it for more than 5 seconds without my mind exploding.
Thanks, I hate it.
Like, it's nicely designed, but I just stared at it then, and my eyes actually hurt, so I had to close them for a second and look away.
It's like I spawn on Warwick.
But yeah, this question, I'll go with inverted PDX with a black background. I don't know which one you're voting for on this one.
Yeah,
Kraven.
well, we like to keep things head-to-head and contestable, and we like to get people rallying behind things. So I'm going with PDX with a great background. Got
Wow.
him. 1v1.
Nate's a big fan of the black background for sure.
Nice.
My good
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah, Nathan, he would really be into that.
All right, glad we're opposing each other on that one.
Okay, so I think that is in fact our last slide. So we're going to leave things on a paradoxical note, if you'll pardon the pun. And if you won't pardon the pun, see you, we're almost over anyway. So it's been me, Kraden, and I've been here with Ruben, aka Trololo, and we've been here with the 4th episode of This or That. If you are watching VL live, then you'll be seeing a nice wealth of games. On stream 1, we've got Horizon Shadow versus potentially Paradox in Division 1. And we've on the second stream, we've got the Slow Bros versus a potentially back-informed Team Vigorous on stream 2 in Division 2. So cheers, guys. Hope you enjoyed watching. Let's crack on with some games.
All right, hello and welcome to Valence League this Thursday. I'm Motoja. I'm with Temporal for the first time in a while. Hi, well, how's it going, dude?
Hello, it's been a brief holiday since I was last on Valence League. Some of you might have caught me on the second stream yesterday, coming back out of retirement. I'm looking forward to some fun games.
Yeah, we've got the Division 1 matchup here. It's Horizon Shadow versus Paradox as we enter Champion Select. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
That's okay.
Right.
Okay. Have you looked at patch 10.11 much? It's made a little bit of a difference to these drafts.
Have not looked at it yet. Run me through it. What do you think is going to be important for today?
All right, for today, I imagine the Graves changes will make drafts slightly different. I don't know. Is Volibear banned? Do we have a? Oh, never
Well,
mind.
we
We've
got some trouble here, it seems. Someone did not get into lobby, apparently. So you're going to have a bit more time talking about the draft then.
a bit more time for 10.11. So those who've looked at the patch notes will know that Volibear is out. The astronaut skins are on their way. We've had some changes. Janna, of course, nerfed after some just that quiet peek into professional play, which is always a bit of a warning sign. Champions like Janna definitely used to put barometers on the meta, and when she shows up, it's normally because things aren't good. And we've
Yeah.
seen some popular junglers bopped as well.
All right. Let us see how this ban and pick phase is going. We're gonna see the Thresh gone. Of course, that is Zyphoras by far most played champion in solo queue. So no big surprise there.
Definitely not. Always good to get the comfort bans off as early as possible. Make sure you don't get pinched into that R2 and R1 and R2 power picks.
Zriel and Vladimir are the next pair of bans.
So we're definitely going for comfort here then. Oof, Bard on
Speaking of
R2.
comfort, that is Con's most played champion, Bard, off of the
Okay.
table.
No one tricking in the bot lane this game, it appears.
Yeah, the supports have been targets here so far. One more from each team.
Alright, there's a long pause on B3. Spike Spiegel making sure they get something really critical. And Fiddlesticks is gone here.
It is a very, very strong pick. Just as Set is still, with how their kits work, I don't think there's a way for Riot to have them in a state where they're not really good, if
Yeah,
they're not complete garbage.
definitely.
So, looking at the first
They have
pick,
that. Oh, okay.
It's a-
Horizon Shadow to take the draft in an interpretive fashion. We're going to start off with a tempo jungle on one. Spike Spiegel picking up the Echo for Hoshiumi in the jungle. I imagine it can be flexed to the side lane, and I have been impressed with some top lane, especially Echo games recently.
no surprise in picking up the Jhin. It is Weasel's most played champion. And of course, if you're that comfortable on a champion, you will always want to pick it. Now, Horizon, all they have to do is pick 4 tanks and the game's over.
I think that's a reasonable assumption here. Spangenia is hovering over the Nasus, but instead we'll see the Nautilus on R2.
Yeah,
Bit more reason.
Zyphora has been going for these hook champs in solo queue, and with a Thresh band, Nautilus is something very powerful. Not that big of a surprise. Speaking of which, the Senna's here.
Senna Maokai on B2 and 3. Fantastic draft work. You can flex that Maokai to 3 lanes with or without the Senna. Echo Senna is a lane on its own. So we'll see Horizon holding their cards close to their chest here as we go towards the second ban phase.
Yeah, one more pick for Paradox to go, of course.
Critical
They have picked the bot
R3.
lane.
What will it be? This has to be a jungle or a top lane on red side.
It is the jungle for Jarvan.
Okay, a pretty good jungler to take here when you're not exactly sure what's going on. Jarvan really able to give Senna some trouble in the mid game.
Yeah, also critical having that second engaged champion alongside the Nautilus will put a bit of weight away from Zyphora's shoulders, as Cassiopeia is off the table for today.
Definitely such a strong solo laner, really present with that Jarvan. In response, B4 will be the LeBlanc. So no one going crazy in that mid lane with that Cassiopeia to hold it down. Reply to with an
More mid lane
Ahri.
bans here.
So many more mid lanes getting pinched in the last. This really does advantage the red side if they're able to use that R5 successfully on the mid lane.
Yeah, this does look like they want a definite counter pick here. And Likan will not be on one of his most comfortable champions with the Cassiopeia and the Aragon.
Okay, B5 is a long hover. You gotta like
Ah,
something in
there
it.
it is.
Syndra.
So 4 mid lane bans, second phase. We know what these teams want to do. Put the opposing mid laner in an uncomfortable position here.
Definitely. So we did see Syndra receive a small nerf to Scatter the Weak on this patch. That ability is pretty much game defining at this stage. There are ways to draft around it, but it takes an incredible amount of discipline. So maybe not what either team wants to opt into here. Lissandra.
Very
On-
safe pick. Could be mid, very likely. Could technically still go top lane, but haven't seen it in top lane for a few years now.
No, that was my bag back in season 5. That's when I reached my peak elo. Lissandra top lane just so incredibly strong at the time, but definitely a shadow of her former self these days, relegated to something more of a counter pick in the mid lane. We'll see Corki picked up on B4. I'm not really sure about these mid lane picks earlier than they need to be here.
Yeah, I mean, for Horizon, it doesn't really matter if they pick mid or
No.
top, fourth or fifth. I find it really interesting to pick up the Lissandra, so they definitely want that top lane counter pick then. And the Lissandra being a fairly safe laner. If you get through laning phase, you always are a threat to the enemy team with that point and click CC ultimate. We're seeing
Definitely.
Illaoi picked up for the top lane, looking for some side lane dominance.
Always good to pay 1800 to make sure the Lissandra tax is owed up. Illaoi, that does have some synergy here. Okay, so Volibear definitely not banned on his first day of release. I4 hovering over this one here. I don't think
yeah.
Paradox will pick up the bear. Instead, it's going to be the Mordekaiser.
Yeah, the Volibear would have been very surprising, as I doubt the players had much chance to play it yet.
Have you had a chance to play it yet?
No, not at all.
Okay, I've ran him through practice tool. He's a lot of fun. Okay, Twitch chat is informing me they can't pick Volibear. That's good. He's not super exciting, but definitely an interesting pick as we see where things go with the current meta. Some upcoming changes to AD carry items that have come out on this patch do impact him as well. It's
Alright.
going to be an interesting one getting used to the new bear in the top lane. Very much the same as the old bear, but there's actually some abilities that do things.
And no more armor on
No
the
more armor.
champion model. Speaking of armor, we have the Mordekaiser in his full plate against Illaoi. This is a top lane I very much look forward to because it's pretty volatile. Once one of these two gets some kind of significant lead, this should be very, very dangerous for the other team. For me, Paradox looking like a pretty press R team here. What do you
We
think about
do
the
like
draft? Who won
we
that?
do like press R. I'm not really sure where the Jhin fits in here. It's going to be really hard for Paradox to weave this team composition into something that generates advantage in the mid game. They have the tools, don't get me wrong, but they all have extra qualifiers on top. The Lissandra Stun must work with Jarvan or Nautilus to keep them locked down long enough for Jhin to go through his full rotation. If Jhin is not ready for his full rotation, then that CC has to be used defensively. There's lots of qualifiers and conditions and extras that make Paradox's team composition harder to execute. Meanwhile, on the other side, Heroes and Shadow have set themselves up for a better economy game. They do suffer if Lissandra manages to make a fantastic pick, but Hoshiumi also tempo jungler, more tied to the state of his team on the map, and may fall into another pit there. Illaoi, if she falls behind, she's a bit of a minion, not able to contribute meaningfully, but will allow the Corki greater poke. So there's a couple of qualifiers there, but not so many as Paradox's team.
Yeah, I also find this Senna ADC lane always interesting. Is the Maokai going to farm in the early game, or do they put the farm on the Senna?
Maokai,
And then of course,
we love some Starvation Center. It is so strong.
yeah, definitely. We're gonna have to see how good they are at keeping the lanes pushed to allow this Echo to influence the game a lot more.
Definitely.
And of course, as you said, if Illaoi falls behind, she's a bit of a minion, but if she gets ahead, she gets so oppressive for the enemy laner because you cannot get away, you cannot engage, you cannot gank her because she'll just 1v2 you with her ultimate.
2v1. Yep, every time. We love. Oh, you're coming into my room. Push kill everything. That's what we like. There isn't much setup, but Maokai is quite useful with that Illaoi. You can definitely create situations where her greatest weakness of being completely immobile and completely location based are slightly overridden by Maokai. In the same vein, Paradox do struggle a little bit with their disengage. Maokai does cover that weakness, so even though Horizon Shadow don't look completely covered in that field, as long as Con holds his nerve and uses that cooldown correctly, Maokai will be a great influence on this game.
Yeah, I'm also looking for these fights with the Illaoi and the Mordekaiser because I'm not entirely sure how the interaction works if Illaoi presses R, but then
Yeah.
Mordekaiser presses his R on her.
Does it get traveled with you? It'd be my assumption, but I haven't actually seen it before.
Yeah, will it proc for multiple people if you're in the Death Realm? That is something we will likely find out during this game. Both teams are looking for their second win of the split, Horizon Shadow or Paradox. Who will get it? We're about to find out as the loading screen will begin any second.
All right. I think one of these teams, I can't remember quite who, is fighting for their life in this group. They don't want to sort of get pushed towards that relegation tournament.
Yeah, as for what I've seen on the tournament, client is Horizon being 1-1 and Paradox being 1-2. So a fight for
Paradox.
their lives it should be. Right, looking at
Okay.
runes.
Nothing too juicy here. The Jin has opted into Fleet Footwork. This is pretty standard for the center lane. He will have to keep up with Senna's innate healing, which is off the charts as is.
Yeah.
Golos not able to help him out there. Corki has gone for the cleanse. Hope he remembers that that doesn't get out of Lyssandra's ultimate.
Yeah, and neither will it help him against the Jarvan.
This
But
is true.
we might be looking at some Nautilus roams, so maybe that's the reason.
Maybe. I don't think it gets you out of Mordekaiser ultimate either, so I'm struggling to see what that's for here. It's a lot of lane pressure given over to Freezy in the middle here.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting choice. But maybe he's got some 400 IQ, 4D chess strat here.
Hey, if we see it and it works, it works.
All right, that is a statement we can get behind. Skin battle, 4 versus 4. So no real winner
Pretty
there.
even tie. Pretty even tie.
Yeah, the game is about to begin. The map's already here. Lights are still off.
Yeah, lights are off at the moment.
The champions are about to enter, and then the lights will be turned on to light us this game of Division 1 of Valence League.
Okay, we'll see if my client can handle the great stress of spectating. I think it's doing it today. Yesterday I had no jungle. It was very interesting. Yeah, seeing it.
Alright, they're grouping. Paradox are.
Definitely, we're gonna see the 5-man through here. They're taking the correct route with the Nautilus. This will allow them a slight blind spot into the Tribush. Think he'd have been spotted though. Con unusually outside of the Tribush. Does see that one coming. It would be slightly risky anyway. Maokai can opt into those saplings at level 1 if there is some shenanigans around.
Alright, we're still continuing the invade. There is a ward on that red buff, so if they decide to stay, they will be seen. They are moving upwards here, maybe trying to look for a surprise at the chicken pit. They just jot down some wards and return to where they came from. So they will have information on Horizon Shadow's jungle in the early game. Whereas Horizon have opted to ward the enemy red buff as well. So at least a little bit of information coming there, especially since Z-Man seems to be starting at that red buff.
Definitely. So Paradox have done the El Clasico of setting up Jarvan's ward and then backing up and getting the Oracle. So he will have that available now. Echo will still have his normal ward available. Neither team showing or faking a pull on the bot side rather. Instead, both revealing their rush dotted on the top side. I wonder how that will affect the paths. I'm not too sure what Echo does here. He can definitely get a bit freestyle into Jarvan.
Already seeing the Piercing Darkness trying to get some poke down, but so far nothing sticking on that Jhin and Nautilus combo.
Okay, interesting. We've seen Jarvan go coast to coast. He's gone red to blue. Some freedom after that is taken away. Could have gone for the level 2 on mid if he felt so inclined, but not quite today.
Yeah, the wards timing out in that red side jungle. I think this one just sees the
Oh.
Echo. And so the information is there now for Paradox that the Echo is doing his chicken camp at this very moment. And we are already seeing Z-Man walk over to the mid lane. Lycaon is very far forward. This could be. Here is the Flag and Drag. He hits him. Lissandra comes forward. Roots and the Flash and Cleanse for Lycaon. Both summoners down very early in the game. Great gank.
Alright, that's what you want to see on the mid lane as a Lissandra versus Corki. You need those summoners out, you need the pressure on if you let Corki scale up,
He's
scale
gonna
up,
come
and
right
scale
back.
up. Oh,
Camera not looking at it right now, but there was a return gank in the mid lane. Lycaon did get away.
I'm gonna say that was a cool, calm, collected Valkyrie away based on what we saw from the minimap.
Yeah, definitely the return being not as successful as the first one. Still, both summoners down could spell very dangerous for this Corki against that Lissandra Jarvan combo. To all that.
Earlier, Joe, you did mention that this top lane can get quite volatile, and we do see Spike falling slightly behind Luca.
Oshiumi's here, he's caught though by the slow. Ignite is going down from Zephon. Flash forward, but does not get anything. First blood, flash away from Weasel as well. Zyphora falls in return though, the teleport coming in here from Luke, who will be looking for this. He gets the claw, can he get the obliterated one more? No, he cannot. And here's Sun. Good cue from him to put Igni Luke into the tower, so he has to back off a little bit. Meanwhile, Freezy in trouble against this Corki. Summoners, yes or no, the damage is still there. But for now, everything calmed down, a kill for each side.
Okay, 1 for 1, not too bad. Slight gold advantage over to Paradox. Ooh, we do need to catch our breath, I guess. So Freezy took a huge chunk in the mid lane. Still holds onto his summoners importantly though, like can't without those for a little moment. But in the bot lane, pretty much everything burned except Weasel's heal and Zyphora's flash.
So again, summoner advantage for Paradox. But Zyphora did fall as well in that exchange. It was of course a 2v3, so still props to them.
Not bad at all. Until the teleport came through, of course,
Yeah, of
which
course.
I suppose, to spin that slightly, Spike managing to get back in on that top lane in the lull state. Well, interestingly enough, go for the Kindle gem first. I'm more a fan of boots and components myself, as you do get to that phage power spike a little earlier.
Yeah, I do agree with that. But maybe he's just valuing that cooldown reduction very,
Oh,
very
definitely.
highly.
If you get it before your ultimate, it's way more valuable than getting it just after.
Oshiumi is returning to the bot lane once again. This could be dangerous as they are pretty pushed up. While the top laners are just trading, that's grass pitting. Not landing onto Weasel, so no big danger here.
I enjoy the wet noodle fight analogy even more when it is wet noodles fighting. It just adds so much clarity to something we already understand. Bit of tit for tat, but neither player fully committing. I do like Igni Luke's build here. The Rhyalize first, which kind of does demand the blasting one pickup due to the suboptimal build path
trap.
that item. Oh, hell.
Oshiumi walks right into the bush, gets rooted, gets knocked up, and gets killed. That was a quick and easy pick for the side of Paradox. Great trap laid by them with the vision they had on the enemy jungler, and it does look like they want to take the Drake as well.
Alright, easy peasy freezy. Always a great feeling on Lissandra when your opponent doesn't know you're there and all the CC is ready. And that will be the Infernal Drake over, I think, to Z-Man. So we won't see the soul this time. Hopefully an Ocean Soul next. Not for any balance reasons, I just really don't want to see the soul again. It is a game spoiler.
Alright, there we go. The dragon has been slain. The next one will be a mountain drake. So we're gonna have either air or ocean soul. As Z-Man already moving down to the bot lane, maybe they're trying to make something happen immediately after this drake pickup.
Okay, he is on the blind spot around the corner.
Well, root land onto Zyphora. He goes for the hook, but not enough follow-up CC to facilitate any kind of trouble for the bot lane of Horizon Shadow.
Just a little bit impatient there. Knowing he had the blind spot on the corner and wasn't seen with the Oracle's lens, could have maybe decided to wait until the lane was pushing out. As it is right now with cannons, can just afford you that little bit extra power. Make sure that EQ connects and Flag and Drag is successful.
All right. So no more kills at this moment in the bot lane. Looking at the CS, it does look a little bit like a Horizon disadvantage here. But of course, with the
So,
Senna economy, it's
yeah.
always a bit.
We have to
skewed.
remember the support item is actually showing the gold number on Zyphora. We do have a lead of 300 between the farming carries and 200 between the non-farming carries. So 500 gold is going over in this bot lane towards Paradox. That is half of their global gold lead.
Yeah, which is 1,000 at this very moment. Of course, Freezy around 10 CS ahead onto Lee Khan at the moment. He could be getting caught here, though. He will get a pretty easy claw away.
Alright. Not too bad. Just making sure he sends a message, gets it on there on the jungle. Lycon has managed to grab this Tear of the Goddess and is stacking it up nicely. Means that we will see a delayed Triforce, but definitely worth
Going in on this. He does get a lot of return damage, and there came the ultimate. He did get the cleanse away, so it is possible to cleanse it, but the claw from Freezy picks it up easy. As you said earlier, easy peasy, lemon freezy, and it's a kill for the side of Paradox once more. So 3-1 in kills, 1,500 gold lead at the moment. It's looking crisp in the mid lane with the 2-kill Lissandra now.
That's what we like to see. Maybe my slightly out of date information. Oh, we do have a pause as that hook from Spike looks to have connected onto Igniluk.
Yeah, could be pulling out his soul for a couple seconds, but I don't think much danger there. He is a level up ahead, not a full level, of course, but he does have the level 8 already. Not
Definitely.
a huge spike, but will help him in the trade right now.
Alright, both the top laners are for back as well, so we won't see any quick changes to that matchup in the top lane. Let's have a quick review of the game so far. Both of these teams rely a little bit on tempo. We are looking to see more conditions fulfilled by Paradox, who are getting there. Freezy definitely generating a significant lead in the middle. What do you want to see from the next 5 minutes?
They have to put that lead away from the mid, not away from the mid lane, but on the rest of the map, right?
You want to split
Freezy
it all
has got
around?
these 2 kills. He has got these 2 kills. He's got the teleport available. He's not gonna need that to keep the lane state even anymore. So I'm looking for him specifically to find some roams, maybe get another catch in the jungle against Toshiyumi, who is pretty far behind
Definitely.
when it comes to where he wants to be.
Alright.
So what way would you see for Horizon on the other side to close this lead again?
Alright, Horizon are in a real pickle at the moment. Hoshiyumi on that tempo echo really will struggle to generate anything here. If you find Z-Man, it will be disaster in the straight 2v2 anywhere on this map. Instead, I'd like to see Axel, Traz, and Khan not completely throw the bathwater out with the baby, who is currently sailing through the air. They need to continue scaling, continue their line, know that Just Weasel does have a ceiling and he will reach it before the end game. So they need to keep going, make sure they can enable their team to keep going. This means they might have to rotate up for the Rift Herald. We are running out of time and the Mountain Dragon is on its way. Both teams will have to contest this. It allows Paradox to do a lot more with that Nautilus. So maybe something that Horizon have to pick up to not lose that advantage rather than generate it themselves, as Khan will be without those resistance giving items for a little while longer.
All right. What help can they give to this Corki in the mid lane, who's just used his cleanse to get rid of the Frozen Tomb and still died?
Corki's got to hold on to the fact he's still got his turret plates. He's got to hold that position. Maybe call in Hoshiyumi for some of these recalls. The Jungle Echo is quite an effective wave clearer. And make sure that is managed ahead of time instead of falling into any potential traps and pitfalls Freezy and Z-Man can throw their way.
All right. Top lane not looking all too interesting at the moment. Spike had a slight disadvantage very early on, but since Luke has teleported to that bot lane, he does seem to be back in control of the lane. He's got level up, as we said first. So the CDR definitely helped him. That Kindled Gem that he bought will probably get a pretty good recall off now.
Definitely. Interestingly enough, Luke's teleport is nearly back up again. It's only a minute away, and it will be back up for the next dragon. Where Spike has not used his at all, so maybe a trick missed there from Spike.
Well, well.
All right, we're waiting to hear on the progress of anything going on.
Yeah, there seems to be lag on Axel Zitras end, so it is a lag issue. Of course, trying to be resolved as quickly as possible, but yeah, in the meantime, talk to me. How will these comps develop? When will the power spikes be hit? Where are you looking for the most explosive fights to happen
All
next?
right. Corki needs his Manamune and his Triforce to start to commit to anything, really. The cleanse will be a short cooldown, so you shouldn't worry about that one too much. In the meantime, Freezy has to continue this advantage of going. Otherwise, he's going to be relegated back to that push R robot we thought he likely would be early on. Instead, he's gone for the Luden's Echo. He wants to RPG this Lysandra. He wants to run around the map like Lysandra Top used to back in the day, deal tons of damage while he can, and then eventually, as the game goes on, he'll be more that team fight facilitator for Just Weasel.
Yeah.
But he has to keep that going now if he wants to close out the game before Senna and Corki really get rolling, before Spike Spiegel gets that lucky one pick in the prison and generates a whole bunch of gold and it, like, pastes it right onto the map to keep going.
Right, it does look like the issue has been resolved, so the unpause has been hit. We're going to continue.
Alright, we'll see Z-Man on the top side. He's picking up that red buff. He's looking for something top, and such Spike has decided it's time to go home. He doesn't want to be here right now. We'll
Yeah,
evade
back to the
anything.
Bebop it is.
Back to the Bebop. Oh, I thought we'd pause the end. I had some lag on my end, but we're still going.
Alright, so Hoshiyomi clearing the red buff and recalling as well. The Herald has been engaged by Z-Man though. This looks like a pretty free one as both Spike and Hoshiyomi were looking to recall. Hoshiyomi has not chosen to do it, but not close enough to do anything about this Herald at the moment that they don't seem to be aware of either. They could be looking for a dive in the bot lane though.
There was the one ping on. I think instead of contesting, they're going to go for the cross-map play. Try and get Hoshimi back in with the numbers at disadvantage somewhere. Instead, he's going to channel recall in the bush. Not able to get onto this lane. In the middle, like
Herald picked up.
Yes, I think so.
And he's
There
coming to the top lane as well. A new red ward is there, so no surprise factor. Soul gets pulled out, so Illaoi feels a bit comfortable at the moment, not looking very threatened by this Jarvan.
Definitely, I would like to see Z-Man try and get this Herald down on the mid lane. It's okay to use the Empowered Recall first, but you have to make it count. I don't think Mordekaiser is the place to put that gold right now.
Yeah, the Lysandra, if you get rid of that tower, will so much more easily be able to roam and to exert the lead she has onto the rest of the map. Now 20 steals up along with the 2 kills.
It would be the struggle getting onto that Cinnabot lane and creating some havoc down there. Definitely the goal at the moment. We're going to go back to our noodles.
Yeah, the spectator client does love a good top lane.
Alright, we do see Hashimi is pinging the Mountain
There's a
Dragon
jungle
here.
invade, but I think they have been caught, Paradox there. So Horizon definitely know what's going on. Corki is being forced off by the Jarvan a little bit. Hoshiyomi is over the wall. Freezy is going to try to get this ward, but here comes the Echo. That's good damage. The claw forward to maybe get Lycaon. Senna ult came through, but not enough yet. And Z-Man picks Lycaon up. Here is the Maokai though. I don't think Freezy has a way out. Shut down goes to Ton of all people. Now Hoshiyomi has to R away as Luke has come here and hit him with a Death's Grasp. While Zyphora has a little 1v1 with the Senna, and he's got the Ignite. Senna has to flash away. Jin ult missing a couple of times, and it does look like Axel could survive here unless the hook lands now. Zyphora gets the hook, and that's a good one. Another W from Jin and an auto attack from Nautilus was enough. Zyphora picks it up, and that was a good series of skirmishing from the side of Paradox, and there's still 1,000 gold ahead here.
Definitely, it went so well. It could have gone a little bit better. I think Z-Man and Freezy not on the same page as that fight started off. Did let Hoshimi manage to move through. They could have maybe let Lycaon jump away on low health.
This could be dangerous for Freezy. He's not that tanky. So he does claw away and will be able to just hit some wet noodles to get rid of that curse. Meanwhile, the dragon has been picked up, so 2-0 dragons for Paradox. It is
Ocean Soul.
mountain and an infernal. We're gonna see the ocean soul, so a lot more
Oh, no.
greenery around the map.
I'm not a fan. I really, really don't enjoy Ocean Soul. Do you like simplified game states, Motojo?
I've got things I'm more of a fan of. Paradox will also not be that much of a fan. They would have really liked the Cloud Soul probably to get rid of the
I think they
cooldown on
prefer
their R's.
Ocean, maybe based on how ridiculously padded the stats are. But definitely
Yeah,
there is definite synergy there with the Cloud Soul. But instead, they're just going to be immortal in these team fights.
Yeah, well, immortality is never anything a League of Legends champion will not want. So could be worse for them. They are in control of the map at the moment. Still around 1,500 gold they need at the 13-minute mark. And they will be trying to open up this map with a Herald summoning as you wanted mid lane.
It's just the right place. Interestingly enough, Hoshimi has put up his gold until this Herald connects to the mid lane. That was the case at least.
Red line connected here in the bot lane. This could be a 2v2. Con is very far forward and very low HP onto Weasel. He gets him away. The Q Ignite is on. He is dead. Con gets the kill. Now Axel has to survive against Zephora. It does look good for him. He gets away. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Hoshimi already smited Z-Man. He gets rooted and stunned. And the dunk is on as well. A double kill in the mid lane for Z-Man. While in the bot lane, Zephora is 1v2ing the enemy bot lane. Con will get the return kill, but the kill onto the Senna was very surprising there. He might even get the way. Flash away after the flash from Mal. Can the dredge line save his life? Now can he escape the sapling? It does look good. Yes, he got the shield and survives the sapling as well. A 3-for-1 for the side of Paradox. What an escape from Zephora as well.
Just as always, ready to raise the spacing out here from Horizon Shadow. It all turns completely on its head. Axeltress and Con did a fantastic job at making that work in the bot lane. And then we move to the mid lane where Hoshimi goes a little too deep and Freezy takes the punish. With that positioning, the Cataclysm coming down and it all lining up so perfectly. And then Zephora says, actually, you know what? Senna has to go down today. That has to happen. And unfortunately,
to tell the tale.
yeah, Axel not able to space correctly and get the kite required for Zephora to fail in that instance. It definitely was his fight to lose.
Yeah, and now we're gonna see the first power spikes coming in. Freezy has got the Luden's Echo and Boots as well, and a Fiendish Codex to boot. Just Weasel has finished his Infinity Edge. While on the other side, Lee Khan does have the Mana Moon, but Senna not yet on an item.
Okay, Senna can sit on the lethality quite effectively for a time here. We have 412 stacks on this Manamune, so it's on its way. It's not where it wants to be right now, but it's definitely on its way. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Illaoi has completed the power spike of the game, which is Phage and Boot.
Well, Luke has not opted for the Relies, but rather the Liandry's as his first item.
I'm not a super fan of this. Liandry's is pretty greedy if you're building that one first.
I mean, maybe you want the extra little bit of damage against the Illaoi. Hoshiomi stepping on a trap here, not getting any kill pressure here, but they do have pressure on this turret and could be looking to go down, which is something they desperately need, because after that last fight the gold lead has ballooned to around 3,000, and they will close at least a bit of that with this first brick on their side. Of course, first brick has gone down in the mid lane before. After that Herald summon, Ocean Drake will spawn in around 50 seconds, so we're gonna see a fight there probably.
Alright, so for a reset for Dragon, you need to be in the base 35 seconds before that Dragon is up, unless you have Home Gods. You need to be, and that's to arrive when it spawns. If you want to run down there a bit quicker, you've got to be a bit quicker. We'll see Rift Herald go over to Z-Man here. He looks like he wants to put it in top lane, but honestly, mid T2 is so juicy right here. He's going to be a little late to this Dragon.
He does have the fast recall, but he still has to walk out all the way. It's still a bit more than 20 seconds. He might make it almost in time, but his whole team is calling him.
Oh, I was going to say the rest of Paradox are there. No, they aren't.
Everybody's in base, so
Freezy picks up the stopwatch just before this key critical fight that he knows has to matter. It will allow him that little extra agency.
yeah, look out for golden eye switches in the next fight.
Interesting enough, the Sheen from Lyacon, a little bit of extra damage. Both top laners are sitting on their teleports. So
Yeah, the top laners not having been involved in any kills yet. Typical for top lane in this state of the meta.
well, Luke was maybe involved in those ones on bottom. The teleport definitely informed positioning, even if it didn't complete before the takedown was completed. So
True as
Ashura-
well. But, he's got no credit for it on the scoreboard, so we're gonna treat it as it was. The Scuttle Crab looks to be picked up, but they have stopped.
Instead,
A bunch
we'll
of
see
words in
the
the
Ocean
pit.
Dragon dance vision dance rather moves to the back of the pit instead of the ground. Paradox have started this one up.
Yeah, the dragon has started dancing as well, and here may come the engage. The grasping roots from Maokai are here. Zyphora is losing, but the Drake is almost dead. A kill already going over to Lee Kaon, and now Kaon is in the middle of 3 people. Can he get away? Luke is in the Death Realm, but not looking to get anything done at the moment. Gets the claw. Spike Spiegel will use his own ultimate. Weasel gets a kill on Hashiyumi on the flank of the fight. A shutdown goes over to Lee Kaon, over to Z-Man, and it's 4 versus 3 at the moment for the side of Horizon Shadow. The Dragon was picked up by Paradox, but they get one kill back in comparison, and the lead shrinks to 2,000.
Alright, I wouldn't be too worried if I was Paradox. Of course, not great to take that fight after Dragon. Not really much of a choice in this instance. But only a 1 kill deficit. Even if there is some gold on that Corki now, still maybe not enough for me to be upset.
Yeah, also they are on Soul Point and still have the Herald in the inventory.
So unfortunately, Igni Luke not getting rewarded for his item build. If he could complete Rylai's after that fight, notice he still hasn't got any kill credit. Then he would sort of be rewarded for the early Leandries. Instead, he's maybe going to be punished for grabbing that blasting wand and sitting on it for so long. As Illaoi, now with the Black Cleaver, will be a bit of a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, both top laners actually not getting any credit for any of the kills happened in that dragon fight as well.
Side lane in the
So
middle
the
is
scoreboard does look a bit curious here.
It's like, oh, well, we should just 1v1 like we do on the side lane. So Mordekaiser pushes R and they carry on. Oh,
Carry
boy.
on, boys. Some
Side-
vision
side-
being cleared.
Side lane in the middle of a team fight. It's you gotta love it. You absolutely gotta love it. Oh,
The Death Realm did exclude the others from helping their own top laners there, still. Oh, here comes the gang. Z-Man versus Spike. Spike doesn't look too scared at this very moment. Herald still in V-Man's inventory, and he wants to get rid of that. The cooldown is almost through. He will have to summon it very soon. But Hoshiyumi is here to help his top laner. So this could be a 2v2 that Paradox maybe do not want to take.
the man has put himself in a really rough position here. It's going to be Herald for the sake of using it, or Herald in the top lane now, which is where it doesn't really want to go. That mid T2, oh so precious. Getting the charge onto the inhibitor is always absolutely game changing.
So the Herald has been summoned. They're trying to push this in now as the Horizon Spotlight has moved mid to leave Freezy all by himself. Oh, a double claw hits. This could be the fight they were looking for. Hoshiyumi very low. Here comes the ultimate from Jarvan, and they do get 1 kill onto Hoshiyumi, but here come the tentacles. Wet noodles all over, but Spike Spiegel is in the Death Realm, and in the Death Realm, Mordekaiser is king. The King of Metal gets a kill credit for himself finally, and an assist as well. And they are pushing the tower.
All right, definitely what we wanted to see. Spike Spiegel did wait for the correct timing on the Cataclysm, but was not able to convert anything back over. Unfortunately, Hoshiyumi, a bit of a wet paper towel at the moment. The uncompleted Proto Belt, maybe a little greedy on the itemization instead of something a bit more team fight oriented.
He's not been having a great game at 5 deaths at this point. We'll have to try to bounce back, but the tempo is definitely not in his favor
No.
as far as the game goes here. 5,000, almost the lead for the side of Paradox. They have 3 dragons as well, so Soul Point is available when the next dragon spawns. Times are getting desperate for Horizon. What do you want to see from them to come back here?
Corki has hit his item spec, so Lycan is able to do what he wants to do in the side lanes. Con is pretty huge. This Maokai will be coming up on his second item real soon. I'm not sure. I don't think he's going to get that completed before this Ocean Dragon Soul in a minute. It's an incredibly fast soul point hit from Paradox. I'd like to see, well, it's sort of a last-ditch effort. They have to keep the Corki alive. They have to keep Con moving through the team fight. They have to make sure Freezy doesn't pick anything off. They have to take out Weasel before he can just dance through the team. Do what Jin loves to do. Fire off 4 shots, take someone down. Interestingly enough, just Weasel picking up Kerchi's shard here for the small power spike. They are well ready for this fight in 40 seconds. A bit of a late base. Just Weasel and Zyphor are leaving it till the last second, but it looks like they will be spending all of their gold and ready for the fight. No control wards is a bit of a red flag here. Oh, never mind. Just Weasel, I think, sold some potions or something, freed up the slot.
Yeah, he's gotten another BF sword pickup as well from that recall. Not much gold in the pockets of Horizon, so they choose this moment to secure vision control around the dragon they so desperately need. Paradox not to get. Good Scryer's Bloom here, so they know where the enemy team is, and here could come the engage. Hoshiumi jumps out immediately after jumping in though, because that looked scary.
Just giving Z-Man a friendly reminder that they're ready to fight. Not much vision onto this pit. Paradox don't know if this has been started by the Illaoi.
Aura already taking quite a bit of damage from the Illaoi. Here comes the fight. Z-Man in the middle of it. He's already very, very low. Can he survive to get onto the dragon? No, he cannot. Good. Senna ulti and the shutdown goes over to Likan, and they're getting everything they want with the Illaoi ult as well. Igniluke is just barely alive, but now everybody around Weasel has already died. A double kill going over to Likan, and this looks like an ace. A clean one at that, at 5,000 gold behind before the fight. What a performance from Horizon Shadow, and the dragon is their prize.
So a fantastic job keeping Weasel out of that one. Lycon was able to fire away in the backline. It is exactly what we wanted. The cleanse kept him safe from Freezy for just the right amount of time to take him down. And I think we're going to see a Baron conversion here on the side of Horizon Shadow.
Yeah, they definitely are looking for this. It was a great Dawning Shadow through the middle of that team fight, dropping everybody on the side of Paradox, so who were very split. Not protecting Weasel enough in my opinion, and not really having good focus in that fight, and it cost them all their lives. It cost them the dragon, and it could cost them the Baron. They're here to contest though.
In the meantime, double teleport.
Yeah, Horizon have pulled off this. Can they escape with their lives? It does look that way, which could enable now Paradox to engage the Baron. It does only seem like they want to clear the vision here. Oh, claw over from Crazy. They want this engage, and they got Hoshiumi with the jungler dead. The Baron does look like theirs to take.
Ooh,
And we have another pause.
Okay, I hope nothing nothing network related again. That was a bit of a critical pick there. Hoshiumi just a little too far forwards. Will cost big.
That was a good loop around from Freezy with the claw over the wall, catching Hoshiumi in a vulnerable position. And no amount of time shenanigans could save the Echo there from freezing and from being hooked by a giant anchor in the face.
We do enjoy our giant anchors. Just noticed Freezy is level 15 and is so close to having that level 16 ready. Oh, no, I tell a lie. He's only 20% through. But definitely another spike for this Lysandra, who is still doing quite well economically.
Yeah, he's got 1,200 gold in the pocket as well, so very close to the second needlessly large rod he would need towards a shiny purple hat, which would increase his ability power significantly, and he's already doing quite the amount of damage. So this is something Horizon definitely have to look for in the next team fight if they want to win again. As this pause seems to be going, we have no information yet what has happened. So, the next fight, do you think Paradox still take it, or was that the turning point?
I think, so we've had that spike from Horizon come back, take the dragon exactly how they needed. It will be a bit of a wake-up call for Paradox. It's pretty even here, but noticeably, no one paying the QSS tax on the side of Horizon is going to give Freezy those options to continue diving, to continue finding Axel, to continue finding Hoshiumi. It's going to be a bit dangerous. Of course, maybe should be staying back and making sure Weasel goes through okay on these fights, but they've got options, and that's the important thing.
Yeah, one of these options, definitely in my opinion, is as well the Mordekaiser just using his Realm of Death to get Con out of a fight once that Maokai walks forward, trying to get onto Weasel, which would enable the Jin to just free dance through the fights, mostly, because there's not all too much CC on the rest of Horizon.
Definitely not. It is loaded mostly on the Maokai. So we still do have a blue control ward in the pit, so this won't be an immediate Baron take, at least from Paradox. They'll have to clear that one away without giving Horizon the timing on the Baron going down. Otherwise, there's not a whole lot going on at the moment.
Yeah, it was a good quick reaction from Paradox after that disastrous last fight to at least prevent Horizon from taking that Baron Nashor. And now with Hoshiumi dead, they could look for it themselves. There's only one, as you said, pink ward from the side of Horizon in the pit. And Spike also in the base. He does have the teleport available in case they want to contest the shenanigans that could be happening. But as of now, it does look prime for the taking for the side of Paradox.
Definitely. Oh, well, how are we doing for... So Jin is nearly at his second item, which will be fantastic. Inguluk has picked up the Rylai's, which is also effective at the moment. We've seen a lot of Rylai's abuse this last patch. The item has gone completely unchanged. The indirect buffs does stem from the meta. Not worrying so much about item completion, not worrying so much about those small power spikes like you get when you say buy the Haunting Guys, which is the 10% madness unique passive. Instead, we're just worried about gold and gold efficiency. And Rylai's oh so efficient when you add in that extra stats from the slow, from the ensuing damage of keeping the fight going longer, from Rylai's proccing the Leandries, from keeping the madness going that little bit longer. And it just works so well. And of course, Mordekaiser, one of the best to use it.
Yeah, also another critical information for the fight that could be happening any moment. For the side of Horizon, Corki is carrying more than 2,000 gold, so if a fight breaks out now, he's way behind where he could be with the gold in his pocket. He does have the 2 items he needs to be really effective, but 2,000 gold is a pretty big amount.
Alright, Hoshiumi, that is a fantastic pickup straight on the QSS. Not going to let Igniluk and Freezy push him around.
That's the claw of the Rakan. He has to Valkyrie away. And now the claw of the wall on Freezy, and the same flank that killed Hoshiumi works again. Big ultimate from Illaoi. Z-Man saving himself with the critical stopwatch. Still falls to a tentacle though. Spike Spiegel. Great one right from space coming down with a tentacle. No amount of stopwatches will save you there, and they prevent the Baron take.
Yeah, that was a fantastic timing from the Illaoi passive, slamming down as soon as Z-Man comes out of his stopwatch. The health regen just keeping him alive in there. And oh boy, at least they've saved the Baron.
That was the same flank working again.
It was a swift run back. I swear that was run that way, use the E cooldown, run back and wait for it to be right up again.
Yeah, it looked like the exact same thing, but this time working out for Horizon as well with that Illaoi in the corridor. Always the big danger because there's not much room to dodge these floppy, wet tentacles. And some people will have watched enough hentai to know where this is going when Illaoi gets fed. Oh, Engage comes with the package. Weasel is on his own. He will take the down. Who's unstoppable now? And that was a blunder from Weasel that could cost his team the game, as Freezy is on his own as well now.
Oh, it's fine.
Rooted up, ults himself, but I don't think there's any way out. Even with Z-Man there's just too much to see and too much damage. Con is on a rampage. Z-Man was too close, so that has to EQ away, and now they want the Baron.
Zyphora was just in the bottom river, just between lanes when that happened, completely taking Paradox off guard in these lanes. Weasel, unfortunate, the package does take its victims, but Freezy is absolutely styled upon. Axel Dress is spacing so well, keeping that CC chain going for longer and longer. And of course, this squishy Lissandra build not able to put up with any of that punishment.
Baron on 3,500 HP. Z-Man does have EQ, he does not have Flash, he does have Smite, and he is a level behind Hoshiumi, who has done a really good job at catching up. 2,000 HP on the Baron, the Jin ult coming through, 1,600 HP. When does Z-Man decide to go in? They are slowing down the damage. Here he comes. Blue team is slaying Baron after, so no steal. It does cost Z-Man his life that he attempted to steal that Baron away. And suddenly, for the first time this game, Horizon are in the lead.
Alright, not a bad comeback at all. Horizon doing so well in the Baron pit, not hitting it to make sure the Jin ulti can cause no shenanigans and no perfect setups for Jarvan. Kong was in position to use the fist punch away, knock Z-Man Jr. out of that EQ and give him some extra trouble, and they will be rewarded with the Baron for their efforts. Ocean Soul in 50 seconds does command their attention.
All right, yeah, they did a really good job slowing down the damage onto the Baron while just Weasel was using the Curtain Call. And then it was just dealing with the jungler, while your own jungler is a level up, so they did have that advantage on the smiting. And so yeah, no steal happening. They get the Baron, they start pushing, get a tower, get a recall, spend their gold, and now they want to take the game.
Right, Luke, interestingly enough, was headed up to that top lane. Will be late to this fight. Spikes decided to join him even though his teleport was available. We will have the center move through this pit, clear out vision with the Umbral Glaive. Also important for making sure that that is vulnerable. Sorry, I'm disturbed by
Hands on the
the
flank, and he's all alone. He got Lee Khan, but who has catched whom here? He has to EQ away, while Spike is just pushing this mid lane with the help of the Baron buff. The tower is about to go down. Luke wants a piece of that though, and his whole team's behind him. The Dragon falls though. 2-team Horizon Shadow. That's their second Ocean, and they're going to be healing a lot. And they have the flank comes here. Here come the Strangle Roots. Nature's Grasp. It's not catching much, but Luke is very far forward. A lot of damage. And here comes the Alawi, the leap of faith. Gets one kill onto the support, and Luke has died as well, trying to hold off the whole enemy team by himself. Crazy cross forward, he wants this. He gets the Zhonya's off, holds himself as well. Can they get the fight under the tower? Khan's very, very low. Chop down goes to Weasel, and another kill over to his team. Hoshiyumi's the victim, and they do continue the push. They have a lot of Baron minions. They have 2 cannons. Have Z-Man on the flank though. Does he want this? Our turret has fallen, but only Weevil and Z-Man here at the moment. As the respawns are coming in, Horizon pull off, and that was not what they were looking for.
We have the teleport in from Freezy. I think this
he's
is some
very fast.
overextension from Paradox. This could
Gotta
be
go
risky.
fast. Spike Spiegel is slowed, and here comes the team. Spike Spiegel gets a kill though onto Freezy. He's just doing so much damage. The count is godlike, coming in from nowhere, and that was too much of a chase from the side of Paradox. And the push is on again.
Too much overextension. That Freezy was eager, did not have the Glacial Tomb available, so a bit lost on his own. I'm still disturbed, but he was clapping from outside. It was quite loud. What else will we see after reset? So 2 Ocean Dragons back over on the gold lead to Horizon. We are well and truly back in this.
Khan has finished the QSS just like Hoshiyumi.
Oh yes,
so
it was
they're
available.
starting to pay the tax as well, and Freezy will be less and less useless the longer this game goes on. Less and less useful, pardon me.
Just gotta make sure we get that the right way around. With the cleanse as well, able to get away from Mordekaiser, and Lissandra Outwill is fishing with the package. Won't find anything on the side this time though. Z-Man moving into his jungle.
Axel is there. I don't think he wants this 1v2. Weasel once again gets hurt by the package. I don't think there's a way out. Hoshiyumi picks this one up. He says thank you to Lee Khan for the kill. And now Z-Man again on the flank by himself. Has to EQ over a wall away. The Mouth whiffing, but still another pick onto Weasel with the package, and he has got to stay back here. Z-Man
already got
only 5-5. Cannot join at the moment. They get the quick kill onto Hoshiyumi. Here comes Axel. He's on the flank. He's spacing very well. He's all by himself. No one's touching him. Zyphora's already dead. And the kill goes to Axel as well. And now Luke in the death realm with the Maokai. It was what we suggested earlier, but it's not enough. And as soon as the realm is out, he dies. It's 3 for 1 for the side of Horizon. And they get this inhibitor as well now. Can they try?
Right. Lycan and Axel doing so much damage, they can maybe end the game here. It will require Freezy to not lock them down and make this impossible.
It's tanking the tower, but they only have 1 minion left, so it does look like they are not pulling off. They want to keep it going.
About it.
Second before I respawns, and they are realizing this as well, and so they back off quietly, but with proudly raised heads, as their lead has gone 5,500, and they took the first inhibitor of the game.
All right. Bit of a quick reset. Those middle inhibitor minions will allow Paradox to claw back some of this gold. I'm not sure it adds too much pressure unless they're going to get this Baron set up here. Instead, it looks like Horizon going to base and reset, make sure they can get that all ready. No surprises here. Jin does have his second item ready. Zyphora moving towards this Baron pit, wants to set up. But Z-Man is currently doing his golems.
Yeah, we have less than a minute until both Baron and Dragon are spawning. Remember, it's still Soul Point for Paradox,
Still
so
Soul
they have an
Point.
avenue here.
It's been Soul Point for 10 minutes. I hope they can convert this one. Definitely worth more than the Baron. I'd like to see both teams move down unless they're confident they want to go for the quick take here.
The Dragons are an objective you can increasingly quickly take in the mid to late game. So if you avert your eyes from that objective,
brush of death.
yeah, they are trying to pull a Fnatic, but this time Paradox are so far pretty careful.
Horizon will see
Oh,
them
they
go
are
on the
scared,
objective.
but there's only 2 of them on that flank, three of them. Luke and Zyphora choosing the way through the bottom lane, and I don't think Luke can escape this one. He gets tagged by so much CC. Lycaon is legendary on the Corki, and I think that ends the discussion around the Soul, because Soul Point now already again.
Freezy and Weasel are heading up to the Baron. They're going to go for a quick revenge, but I think Spike Spiegel is going to be ready.
Yeah, they're not able to take the Baron quickly enough, and already Horizon are moving over. They want to take this for themselves.
Is this the revenge Baron the second? This is too much happening too quickly, right? Freezy off the base will now have his Death Cap and a very late Oblivion Orb, so looking to try and deal true damage to this center.
All right, Baron engaged 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Lycaon doing some zoning.
They are kept very far away, and this Baron is falling. 7,000 HP. The curtain call comes way too early, definitely, but I don't think it's in the Baron at all. Here comes their ward. They now see 3,000. Can Freezy make a miracle happen? Z-Man's here, but he's still a level down on the enemy jungle. He just gets rooted and is dead before he can enter the pit. He has to get out of the pit, but the chase is already on. Hoshiumi picks it up. Zyphora's already ignited and will fall. Ignited will try to make something, anything happen, but he has to flash away. He's rooted already, and now he's in the middle of the enemy team. Can he get the count? He does. He gets shut down now. Freezy, though, in the middle of the enemy team. The double kill despite being shut down for Lycaon. Freezy doing quite a bit of work, getting Hoshiumi down as well, but 3 people still alive from the side of Horizon Shadow. And these 3 people are looking to end the game with a Baron buff. I don't think there's any discussion here. Great comeback from them to take game 1.
Definitely a bit of a heart stopper there. The Baron did fall to 27 health after Hoshiumi's ever so early smite. Axeltrass's auto attack coming through to complete that one. Z-Man not capitalizing on the smite fight, and I think that will be the end. We're not going to have a mid-seasons cup, slight spoilers, finish here where the Nexus is defended on absolutely nothing. Paradox are going to try. I'm going to have a little bit of a play-by-play right at the end. The clone is formed. The Nexus is still going down. Z-Man sacrifices himself. And that will be all she wrote game 1 here. Over to Horizon.
Yeah, it did look grim for them in the beginning, but once they had won their first fight, they just kept rolling. 4-3 and 22 in the end for Axel, 4-1 and 18 for Con, and 11-4 and 9 for Lycaon, who's put about an amazing amount of damage and control over this mid to late game, and a deserved win after that comeback for game 1.
All right, I was pretty happy with game 1. I still think the Echo pick was slightly sinning in draft, but we did make a comeback. The Corki and Senna found their way in. The Maokai was effective and pretty rich as well.
Yeah.
We do love to see it. Spiegel, a bit of a non-factor on the side, but when you are a non-factor in those big fights without doing a bit of like just that spike of damage, it's always good to see a 5-1 and 6-11 KDA, making sure that all your contributions are very positive gaming.
Yeah, he's gotten quite a bit of damage off in these team fights as well, with a leap of faith, tentacles flying everywhere, controlling the battlefield, doing damage. And
helping Z-Man help.
helping Z-Man help, yeah. Z-Man did have not the worst game, but in the end he became more and more of a non-factor, as the game was crumbling around his team. And they will have to try to bounce back in the second game. As we are going into a short break, before that, if you would have to nominate a player of the first game, who would you choose?
Oh, who defined this first game? I think Lee Kaon came back in at just the right time, performed in that team fight, and then managed to make Just Weasel's life a complete misery until the game ended. Every single time the package was up, he was right in there. I think Spike Spiegel performed really well, but Lee Kaon defined those team fights.
All right, here we have it. Lee Kaon carrying his team, which of course played well around him as well. 1-0 for the side of Horizon Shadow. Don't touch that browser. We'll be back in 5 minutes for the second game of this Division 1 matchup.
Grab some water. It's way too hot out here.
Yeah.
I know you feel like you want me, and I guess in a way you do. Holding my breath, unraveling emotions. I need some space to think this through. Call me all night long. Try to give you hints and a hard to see. Right on the line, no. Losing it on you's the last thing I need. If I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. And I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. I promise now's not the right time. Yeah, I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. Look away so you won't see, 'cause the pain is in my eyes. Feels like I could break at any moment and shatter your insides. If you feel my mind, call me all night long. Try to give you hints and a hard to see. Right on the line, no. Losing it on you's the last thing I need. If I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. And I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. I promise now's not the right time. Yeah, I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. I would rather lie. I would rather lie. I don't wanna fight. I would rather lie to you. If I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. Yeah, I don't wanna fight with you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Valence League. On a Thursday, we have the Division 1 matchup between Horizon Shadow and Paradox. I'm still Motajo. I'm still with Temporal. Any takeaways from game 1?
I'm still ready for more Thursday night games. I think both teams did quite well. Of course, Horizon Shadow managing to hold on from a very slippery start, nearly fell down that crevasse that Paradox opened up for them, and it looks like we're getting straight into game 2. We're back in draft. Any
All right.
adaptations you'd like to see other than banning Senna?
Yeah, ban Senna. Fuck, freaking hell.
You're allowed 3. You're allowed 3. I think that's still the rule.
All right. So, Thresh is still the first ban from Horizon, so let's see Paradox.
Oh, not even
adapt,
off on
and
one.
there it is. The Senna's gone.
Definitely not allowing Axel to get back onto that one. We'll see the Vladimir the same on B2. Comfort picks still being taken away here. I don't know about you, I've just mentioned this off air, but I've noticed that Riot have put out that if you owned Volibear before this latest update, and of course his re-release, you do get that brand new 1000 pierced bear skin for free, seeing as they didn't take that option with the visual rework.
Oh, glorious. So you just have to relog until June 10th to get it.
I think you've
ban-
got to do it after 9 p.m. BST tonight, so we're not quite there
Yeah.
yet.
All right. Ilawi also taken off the board here.
Yeah,
So
B2,
two adaptations.
B2 and 3 match, but Paradox not happy with the first game, trying to fix it in draft here. We'll continue with the Bard, but we'll switch out to ban the Senna and the Ilawi. We'll make sure that this B1 has to go a slightly different way. I'd like to see something on the bot lane here before it gets pinched further down the draft. Instead, we're going to continue sitting. That is a B1 echo because tempo junglers are life.
All right. So no change for Hoshiyumi in this game, unless they pull a fast one here
I
and give that
mean-
one to Lycaon or Spike.
There is a chance.
Not really to be expected, though.
No. That's nearly certainly for the jungle.
All right, let's see the response from Paradox. What will their adaptation be apart from the ban changes? As the Gragas is coming out,
Do you like the Gragas here? It has a pretty favorable echo matchup. Gragas doesn't mind being stuck in that prison too much if he can throw his casks wherever he likes. that's an R2 Pike. We're getting definitive early on here.
yeah, that's a spicy one. Pike, of course, one of Zyphora's best and most played champions. The Thresh has been banned again, of course, so he will choose another hook champion this game. This time not a tank. This time he wants to kill people.
I can't argue with it. I wonder if Freezy's played any games on Pike recently. We have seen a little bit of middle, still splashing around in solo queue.
Nope.
Can't well come
Nautilus.
back with the Nautilus. Can't argue with the Nautilus. It's still so strong. Kaiser,
Especially
the
paired with a
reply.
Kai'Sa. That is still a strong bot lane.
So the Kaiser has a lot of anti-synergy for Gragas to think about, like a lot of weaving, ducking, and bracing to make sure that she doesn't go flying with that cask and can continue to dive into the backline. She's not exactly as good as she used to be, and even with a small buff on this patch, I don't think she's something you can just blind pick into this bot lane. It's so risky.
It is risky and it is hunted by the
Ooh.
Varus. That's a scary lane to play.
That is going to be absolutely horrendous for Axel if this is a Castavarus. If Weasel fires those arrows one after the other, the health bar will not last long.
Right, so pressure definitely as well on Hoshiyumi apart from that bot lane to help his bot lane survive the laning phase, to get the Kai'Sa to a place in the game where she can confidently deal damage. As the Ahri is banned again in second phase, not much
Yeah,
changing there.
I get the feeling we're chrono breaking back to the first draft. This is going to be a huge mid pinch. We're going to see the Lissandra taken away. No more of that for Freezy.
Right, Corki gone as well.
Oh,
So both mid
okay.
laners from last game are banned. We're gonna have to see something new from the both of them, Lycaon and Freezy. Let us look at that last ban before second pick phase begins.
Alright, in synergy with the Pike, you ideally want something with a little bit of kill pressure in mid lane that is able to be a secondary threat and complement the Varus later on in the game. Veigar has a lot of potential here.
Yeah, so it's not gonna be the LeBlanc. That one's banned again. Let us see the pickup for.
Alright. I
Paradox.
don't
They still
mind the
want that-
mid pick so much here.
Yeah, they still want that last pick, probably in the top lane.
Yeah,
And
they're
it
definitely
is
going to
the
use
blind
R5
Syndra.
consistently. Syndra did fall through this draft, was banned away last time on B5.
Yeah.
Has a lot of synergy. It will work well with the Gragas. It's not quite Lee Sin Syndra levels of kill the mid lane, kill the mid lane, kill the mid lane, but it is definitely some.
Oh, that's a spicy thing into
Ooh.
it. It's the Z for Lycaon. They're gonna have to show us the other solo lane as well, and this time they want the Kaiser. Mordekaiser Z is an interesting combination. They again have a very low amount of CC throughout their composition. Of course, they still have the Nautilus with quite a few abilities to CC the enemy himself, but over the team, not all too much that can slow down or even stun the enemy. As we
I
see
knew that
Kayle
was
is the
fate.
answer to the Mordekaiser.
So Kayle
Ooh.
does have an okay Mordekaiser matchup. Has to live through those first 3 levels. But 6 levels. But afterwards, it can give Mordekaiser an incredible amount of trouble moving left and right. Who's Dave's name? R123. I'll pronounce it off the top for you. But yeah, I think there is so much potential here. The Paradox team comp works so well. Horizon's will maybe struggle in that mid-game stall. Kaiser, not the consistent source of damage she used to be of World Championships past. And there is so much pick potential. If the Nautilus is not a rock-solid anchor here, Horizon might have some trouble.
I mean, his anchor is made of metal, and metal beats rock. Speaking of metal, with the Mordekaiser in the top lane, they have synergy in that regard. But since you were already referencing, so what you mean to tell me is that Paradox won the draft, but there's still outplay potential on Horizon, of course.
They definitely won the draft, but it is not a complete smash. There is always hope. The Echo, being that tempo jungler, can always get ahead and get away with things he should not be able to. Zed can always put pressure. If Varus is found on his own, he will be completely vulnerable to that death mark. If Kaiser is allowed to swing and score kills on this Pyke, make sure Kayle can't do her job, she's going to have a lot of trouble. But of course, Kayle can just push R on the diver, and then we have serious trouble for Kaiser, who is now full committed. So it's going to be a bit of backwards and forwards, a bit of lane assignment, as that's got what's going to matter with the Pyke between the lanes, the Gragas between the lanes, the Kayle having to farm to be effective.
Yeah, one slight problem that could emerge for this Paradox team comp is the lack of tankiness. If a Zed gets strong to the point where you can just press R on anybody and kill them, or force the Kayle ultimate, it's gonna look troublesome for the side of Paradox.
4 threats for an ahead Zed is never something to worry about. But of course, does it matter if you're not tanky, if you don't take damage for 2 seconds and the fight's over? That's going to be a question we're going to find out the answer to real soon. So which draft do you favor, Joe?
I do like Paradox's draft a lot. They have a pretty clear identity. They want to pick people. They want to then start fights with greater numbers, and the low amount of crowd control that Horizon have could enable them to. If they, for example, pick the Nautilus, all Horizon really can do is try to fight or try to run, and you don't really want to fight 4v5 against a Pyke that just got a reset, for example, or a Kayle that still has her ultimate available.
Definitely not. It's likely to be these smaller fights where Scatter the Weak is at its full effectiveness. There is some move around here, and if Mordekaiser does pick away the Kayle, again, there is more potential for this to go wrong. So it will be backwards and forwards League of Legends, but I still like the synergy for Paradox. I can still see it a little bit clearer.
Yeah, definitely. But of course, as it is not only with VL but with League of Legends in general, no game is ever won in draft. You still
Not
have to
quite.
play the champions, and you still have
Oh,
to play
yes.
the team comp, and you still have to play the game. So you never know who wins. Monkeys and typewriters, guys.
Monkeys and typewriters, indeed. Chat, what do you think? I'm looking at Twitch chat just before we load in here. Who won the draft for you guys? We saw no Senna, so you got your wish that way. I'm not sure Freezy's Syndra will be quite the convincing performance. Z-Man did a lot of work against Lycaon at the start of last game, but we'll see. There's definitely potential here as we load onto the Rift for game number 2. Paradox looking to get their revenge for game 1.
Yeah, as we are loading into loading screen, give us these hashtags in chat, guys. PDX win or HRN win. Let us know who you think is going to win game 2. And if we're going to have a game 3. Remember, this one is practically for survival for Paradox, as they've already dropped 2 matches in this season. Whoever wins this match has their second win of the season, catching up to Plague, who last week dropped to Centurion, who are still unbeaten. And you want to keep within reach of these top teams as we are
Definitely.
closing in on playoffs. Loading screens here. Any runes you want to highlight?
The Kale has opted in for the Fleet Footwork, which is a fine choice in this lane. It is what we normally see when Kale is opted into in pro play, but for this lane, I would have personally chosen the Press the Attack. Kale will likely survive against the Mordekaiser anyway in these early stages, and I think that that increased all-in damage, which Press the Attack really offers, and makes Kale really scary in the side lane. Could have maybe been used to a bit greater effect. I'm not really surprised to see Predator here for Gragas. Weasel has opted in for that Castavaris. We see the Comet runes giving that one away.
Yep.
Axel
And he's
using
gone for-
Hail of Blades, which is the new thing for Kaiser. I'm not personally convinced. I think there is a better setup yet to be found, but it is the one we see in pro play, as we do see.
Everybody's stacked. I
That's a
wanted
good
to
one.
talk about summoner spells, but I think we're gonna have to talk potential fight
no
first.
but-
Redline Mythical,
Oh.
and flashes the Ramus. Okay, and I think we're off this one. The thing I wanted to talk about is double exhaust on the side of Paradox. No heal on the Varus. He just wants to stay that far back anyway. So I can kind of see him sitting back, waiting for the Zed to come to him, and then exhausting the ninja to kill him
Definitely.
himself. Hoshiumi could be in trouble here.
Oh, he's looking for that ward over the wall.
That's a lot of slow. That's a lot of CC. The hook has landed. And
Oh.
though Weasel picks up the kill, this one does belong to Zyphora.
That is really unfortunate. Maybe a bit of overabundance, as Hoshiumi could have just dropped his ward where he stood and maybe tried to run south
Uh-oh.
and
Oh, no.
gain some space. Oh no, we're
And
still
hook lands
going.
again. Con is in trouble. Slow lands as well. Z-Man's here. Could get him. Flash away. Zyphora flashes forward. And here comes the
Shock's
return.
gone.
Heal has been used. All ignites have been used as well. But this was an overchase from the side of Paradox. Now Z-Man has to flash away. Weasel on the run. Flashes over the Dragon Pit. Gets away. Con survived this one. And the overchase cost them the life of their support. Z-Man is still here though. And
Spotted
has to
away by the
run.
ward. Oh no, Lycon misses his first 3 minions. That is an awful feeling. That also lane is one once or twice. Half your health gone by the time you've got to lane. No minions. Little experience. Bit of trading in the top lane. Luke should probably be avoiding this.
Yeah, he does not want to trade with a Mordekaiser level 1. Something significant we have to mention is now that Z-Man could not start on a buff early on, he is so slow. Something else that's really tragic is Axel has picked up the red buff. So Hoshiumi with an even more delayed jungle start, as he got no experience from that red buff camp.
It's definitely rough. I'm not really sure where Echo can go from here.
Yes, he's in trouble.
Even a Golem start is really rough there. It means he will lose his smite.
Yeah, and the Gragas has stolen away his chickens, so even worse for him there. This is tragedy for Hoshiumi in the early game.
Oh, definitely a tragedy. In that top lane, Spike getting hit on CS like we would expect, but I think a lot of it is coming in under this tower.
Con has to help him.
Yep,
That's so sad.
that is fantastic there from Khan, making sure Hoshiumi can get to level 2 and get started in this jungle, as if he falls further and further behind. I mean, the explanation's in the name, tempo jungler. If
Great dodge from the
Ooh.
Count, and he's now in melee range with Freezy. That's a lot of damage here. He gets the Ignite of one more auto would kill him, but Freezy manages to walk away just barely.
committed the flash, and I think I'd have liked to have seen it. If Lycan doesn't continue to get ahead, this double exhaust will make his options slimmer and slimmer in the mid game. Hoshiumi at level 2. He wants the crab. I don't think he's gonna go contested because of how far pushed in Lycan is.
Yeah, if Abaddon was in a slightly different state, Z-Man would have definitely tried to contest that one, but as it stands, he will probably be too late. Oh, that was a flash.
Oh, we say the words.
Hoshiumi turns around though after getting that crab. Z-Man walks away, but that's a flash he got pretty much for free, just for a Scuttle Crab.
That's not too bad, is it? Z-Man, unfortunately, not being able to use his level advantage there, missing some health, and missing even more after Hoshimi claps back just a little bit.
Of course, while it was tragic for Hoshiyumi, I think the early red buff really helped Axel in the first 3 levels. Now that the red buff is gone, we're gonna have to see how this bot lane develops. Weasel's not having that much mana left, as the Kaisai model is pushing in.
Not take away the North red buff straight away, knowing that Hoshimi could have maybe walked back around there. Didn't quite transpire that way though, and now still will be a fight on the top side of the map. He's recalled to get his Predator boots, pretty impactful. Oh, hook goes just wide from Zafora.
Yeah, that looked a bit scary. Con is on half HP. If that hook lands, he could immediately drop. Because there's no heal at the moment on Axel. He used that in the invade earlier.
In the meantime, the Mountain Dragon has spawned. So, not seeing any mountains this game. Igni Luke putting up with the torture that is early game Kale. Staying healthy, but maybe not happy. Happiness comes at level 6, and then it gets exponentially bigger at 11.
Yeah, at level 6 he becomes 3/4 of a champion. At level 11 he's finally a champion. The gank is going on though. Z-Man wants this Mordekaiser as the camera's not on there yet, but no damage has been dealt. Here comes this disease. Spike Spiegel's all on his own, but here comes Echo, and Spike Spiegel's still alive. Now Z-Man is the one who has to run away. He does have the red buff, so I don't think a commitment is a good idea, and so everybody backs away. No summoner is used.
Hoshimi keeping his top lane alive for now, despite the veracity of that pick and the Prince coming through. Instead, both junglers are going to return. They're both on sort of a delayed timer, but together. So even though Hoshiumi's slightly behind, it will just be a full clear from both.
Yeah, a very late full clear, but
Very late.
one nonetheless. Z-Man is half a level ahead still though, so that could be to his advantage as he's still jungling while Hoshiumi is recalling for the second time already. What I gotta say is impressive though is Luke keeping up in the 1v1 CS wise. He's been pushed in, true, but he's the first to reach level 6 and he has more CS as he's not yet recalled. But even before the recall of Spike Spiegel, there were kind of even CS Claw lands though, and he has no mana. Death Realm comes down, Spike Spiegel is going to look for this one. Luke has ulted already and still has barely any mana. One more Q from Spike will do it. Flash away, flash behind, and he's still diving the tower. This is dangerous. He gets one more auto off the tower. Will not finish him though, and it's a good solo kill for Spike Spiegel. Though that looked a bit scary for a second there, walking under the tower, casually striding behind the Kale to maybe kill her. But in the
Maybe
end,
wish wrapped back around into the back of the tower would have maybe secured the kill or secured his survival there. A little unfortunate, but in any case, not so bad to lose 1 death on that Kale. We'll pick up the Vampire Exception, which is okay. Just adds that little bit of damage, and you can still flex into the Blade of the Rune King if you needed to. Won't in this game. No health tanks available for Horizon. Now, with the first item, with the first components complete in the bot lane, we will see Weasel's damage start to pick up slightly.
The old picture in the top lane, Spike is pushing in Luke.
Definitely, maybe a missed opportunity from Spike here with a lot of spells cast onto the wave. Giving Igni a chance to farm under tower, which Kel enjoys doing. Some cheap skills to balance out minion wave.
They dodged the stun on the Echo and will just walk away. Z-Man is in the top lane almost. He does have Predator available, but Spike has seen him. He's on the crab, and there comes Lee Cowan on the Zed. Can Z-Man get away? He's only level 4. The Deathmark lands. The Ignite lands as well. Now let's see the Deathmark pop. Ignite gets him low, but he manages to survive through use of his abilities because the passive does heal him whenever he does use his abilities. He drinks a sip of his wine and survives Deathmark Ignite commitment from Zed, which is pretty big cooldown at this point in the game when the Syndra still has the exhaust and the unleashed power available. For now, we gotta look at bot lane though. Hoshiumi's here. He wants Weasel, gets hooked away by Zyphora, and the red line misses as well.
Time
Good
for it
dodging.
completely. Oh, a little presumptive there from Weasel, going slightly wide with the piercing arrow. And while we're in top lane, more noodles. This is going to happen a lot as Luke will keep chipping away at Spike's health one by one. Those are slightly feathered auto attacks. Oh, you gotta love the piercing arrows in bot lane. I would like to see more use of
Once
it.
again, and now he's used the Realm of Death again. Luke can just walk away, but he can only walk away so far. But Z-Man is here once the Realm of Death will be over. Mordekaiser will be 1v2. He is level 8 against level 5. Z-Man, and Z-Man has no mana, but there still is enough damage to go around. Luke just auto-attacking away. Can Spike even survive this? Gets a good Q and walks away alive. Luke and Spike both very low as a plate falls in the bot lane to Paradox.
I'd like to have seen Luke commit to that with the ultimate. Maybe he's still holding it and could be able
on
to
bot
get into
lane.
the Spike.
4 people once the Kaiser arrives, and they go onto Weasel, though Hoshiumi has bitten off more than he can chew. He just falls. Just walked into that chain of corruption and falls to his death before Zed can help him, or Con. And so a bit of a wasted opportunity in the bot lane. Oh, Redshine lands. The root lands as well. Weasel is rooted and ignited, flashes away. Kaiser ults behind, shut down. Goes over to Ale Axo. And that was a bit overconfident there from Weasel, having the flash and the exhaust and still falling. Not a good look.
Not a good look. Unfortunately, Weasel is still very vulnerable to those dread lines until the I can't call it 80 carries Banshee's Veil. I think it's called Edge of Night is complete. The Umbral Glaive granting great vision in the meantime, but not the most effective item at this stage of the game. Instead,
Dragon engaged.
and even though it is just the Mirror mana, and a fresh one at that for Axel is more than enough damage to pick up a Varus his way.
Oh, they want to invade this. He gets the smite off onto the blue buff, so that one at least won't be taken away. He is in a bad position, has to eat over the wall. Doesn't manage to get out of that one. Yes, the lane is still pushed, but the Predator has popped. They want the return on this one. Syndra is close by. She's got the Unleashed power. She's got the exhaust. But as of now, no more fighting happening.
Definitely all of that, unfortunately, on one of Horizon's wards. Lyciana will find man. He doesn't quite get the body slam. Or maybe it's
Last one to Luke.
Ah. Yeah, Luke has to improve the side-to-side movement that you're meant to use against Mordekaiser. You shouldn't really be getting hit by those at this stage in the game if you can help it.
Yeah, this time it didn't have any direct consequences for him. The Obliterate hit him and that was it.
Oh, with that much healing out of the Cutlass and Fleet Footwork, Luke can get away with nearly murder in this top lane at this stage.
Yeah, he's also 12 CS ahead as Kayle versus Mordekaiser, and it's just gonna get worse for Spike Spiegel. So unless he has some secret weapons stashed away at the Bebop, he's gonna be in trouble in the side lanes soon.
Definitely, the Kayle will look to take over this now. It will take intervention from Hoshiumi to change that around. Piercing arrow lands in the butt.
But Con is a tanky boy. He's not gonna be troubled, at least under his own tower.
I know that.
Well, Lucan going forward here. He's procced the Electrocute. Freezy now using the exhaust. Unleashed power goes white because of the death mark. One more auto and he's gonna fall to it. Lucan with a solo kill in the mid lane. Great outplay.
Definitely a fantastic use of the death mark. Does make sure that the unleashed power doesn't hit a thing. There's more than enough.
He's got the dredge line. Dash away, dredge line hits Weasel, who now was in front of his ADC. Both get knocked up, but can they make the damage count? Zyphora has to get invisible and away. Z-Man now, meanwhile, being hit up by the Death Realm, by the Claw, and dies after Spike flashes behind him. Now Luke is 1v2. Can he survive? He's got his tower, and no Realm of Death available, so he's
Just quickly, the bot lane will continue as Zyphora picking that one up, diving down, looking for the next one. Axel chunks before that fight in the bot lane really made that capitalization a little harder. Won't quite find his way onto Axel here.
Yeah, hook goes wide here. Everything happened everywhere. Hoshiumi's on the Rift Herald now. He will probably be able to take this because Z-Man is in the blue side jungle. And it does not seem like Paradox are aware of this, as Luke is a bit bullied off his own tower at the moment. His plates keep falling in this bottom lane. Weasel having a good time in that regard.
I'd like to see Z-Man maybe towards the Herald here. He has got 2 minutes before he needs to be bot lane for that Infernal Dragon.
Herald has been picked up though already. It's in the inventory of Hoshiumi now. Let's see where they decide to put that.
Go metal, and maybe straight away as well, so that you can set up for this dragon in good time. With that Zed having a big base beforehand, he's currently sitting on 300 gold, so not too much, but that could be 1100 gold if you manage to pick off Frenzy before this ultimate comes back up, Freezy rather, and then manage to crack the tower as well. Unfortunately, I can't look at the clock and it's 14 minutes, so those tower plates have already gone away.
Z-Man is looking for this mid lane gank, but Likan has already shown he's willing to outplay. And so the Z-Man just clearing some red wards and backing off again into his own jungle. The Echo is mid as well, Hoshiumi. He might actually be looking for this Herald soon enough. Hovering around the gank path there. Freezy playing pretty safe there.
On popping his Oracle's lens with a minute to go on Dragon. I think that might be a bit over the top to use that in lane here.
Scatter the Weak went wide, but no engage.
Alright, Freezy
And Zyphora still pushing here. Still pushing the spot lane down, but Hoshiumi is getting closer. He's on his own red buff. So they have to play a little bit more careful. Z-Man is hovering around this mid lane. Maybe they want to try and make a play onto the Zed, who has the death mark available again. It's definitely still the outplay potential.
He's waiting for the shadow before his
Oh,
is up.
And hook lands after the Chain of Corruption, and then there's no escape for Axel. Kill picked up by Just Weasel. Great combination of their CC, and just no way to escape as Con is already in the mid lane, so no help from the support either. And this could mean the tower for the side of Paradox.
Style points there. Not much else to do. The Infernal Dragon is spawning, and I would like to see them look. Yeah.
3 people as well, so this is a race for first brick, and Paradox bot lane recalling the cask used to pull away the Herald from the tower, and it does look like they might survive. The dive is here on Hoshiumi. He gets the kill. Now the death mark lands on the Z-Man. I do think he is pressed the stopwatch a bit too early, and that's the case. Likan gets the kill, the tower falls, and thoroughly outplayed from the side of Horizon.
Definitely. Igni Luke not able to teleport down for this one. Could have been really useful were it available, but instead almost burned in the lane.
He's a champion now, though. He's level 11. This could start now.
Hoshiumi recalling on top of this dragon. Neither team really eager to jump in there and grab it off the top.
Teleport advantage on the side of Horizon. As you just said, Luke does not have teleport, while Spike does have his available. Kayle also has, if I remember correctly, no CC to interrupt the teleport if it should come in emergency-wise.
You have to take as much of the opposing laner's health in first instead, and then maybe slow them just before they come out.
Alright, so the dance for this Infernal Dragon has begun. So we're gonna have, again, either an Ocean or a Cloud Soul. But before the Soul can start, we gotta get rid of that dragon, which is engaged by Hoshiumi now.
So we're fishing, Zyphora.
That looked scary for a second, but the Yomis Ghostblade helping Likan get away there.
He was zooming away. In the meantime, Horizon
I can pick up stun lands onto Zyphora. He has to get away there somehow now. Gets he over the wall. Great use of the ability. And no more dying for him at the moment. The piercing arrows are starting to hurt from Weasel.
Yep. One lethality full item and the serrated Dirk enough to really...
Count is very, very low. Can they get him, Zyphora? He does have the R available. He just needs to hit him. Flash away from the count. And Z-Man misses the E. Good cast from him, though. Hoshiumi has to ult away. The teleport has come in, though. And Spike Spiegel looking for the damage. One man from Zyphora. Can that save his team? Hoshiumi's flashed forward. Spike has picked up the... Varus as well with the Q, and now Freezy's all by his lonely against so many people. He can't get the kill, even survives on a sliver of health. And that has gone from bad to worse for the side of Paradox.
They allowing these members from Horizon to pick off one at a time with Spike Spiegel in the middle dealing all that damage. A favorable setup for sure, allowing Axel to move freely between the members even though he's exhausted. That isolated Q damage, something to be scared about.
Yeah, and Freezy just too late to the party, and then he was in the middle of the whole enemy team. Unleash your power as much as you want, that's not gonna help you. The power is taken towards this inner turret now. It's a lot of damage already on it, around half HP. Con might have overextended though, as the respawns have come in. Hook from Zephora goes wide though.
Not today. In the meantime, Luke is sitting on a pile of gold in his top lane. He has 2,000 in his pocket, so that'll be
Yeah, no mana.
his hex stack. We'll have to see what else he grabs after this. This is where Kale builds start differentiating slightly. It might be the Ginsus for the straight up damage. It might be something else.
The Edge of Night is now finished for Weasel, so he's gonna have a bit of an easier time navigating around these fights probably, but still the Z is very, very scary.
Harder. He can't just find him and push on. He has to start with something else.
Yeah. Right, the game has slowed down a little bit. Zephora has to be careful. He's a speedy boy.
The model. No dragon, no baron, at least for 20 seconds, and neither team really favoring this clear. Maybe Paradox slightly, but they are without a target to tank it.
Yeah, you gotta start getting a little bit worried for them. They do have the kill that scales forever, but they are 1500 gold and 2 dragons down. And it's not like the enemy comp does not scale at all. They still have the Kai'Sa, they still have the Mordekaiser, can take the Kale out of the fight for a while.
That will be Mordekaiser's late game objective, in my opinion at least. So remove the problem person and just make sure they don't.
Evade here. Zephora could be caught. He's against 2 people. Con and the Zed are here. The Echo, pardon me. And now it's the Weasel has flanked over. Zephora gets to use the ult but doesn't get anyone. Good cast from Z-Man to disengage. And now everybody's where they belong. Likan, meanwhile, on a rampage with a solo kill in the bot lane. Could the re-engage happen here now? No, everybody backs away.
Freezy caught.
Not much happening. Yeah, Freezy just died.
Watch available will mean that Likan can convert that one over into a kill. A really unfortunate cast from Z-Man. It did space really well, but unfortunately Weasel was about to pick off Ashiumi after he'd used his Chrono Break already, and just letting Echo off with that one. Just giving him the free pass.
I'm of the opinion that we have to question a little bit Freezy's build as well.
Definitely. It's okay to go for the GLP in certain situations, but against a Zed who is starting to snowball, it is not the item you need. You're not going to be running him down. You have to make a reason to run you down.
As the Vision War continues shortly before this dragon will spawn, it is going to be Cloud Soul this time. So we're going to have some speedy boys at some points on this map. And they are looking for these old cooldown reductions, which for both teams could be pretty big.
So definitely both teams enjoying big team fight ultimates here. That synergize really well with this. I can't really give it to either team. Both have insane like single target pickoff ultimates and team fighting ultimates pretty much in the same positions actually, which is really nice for a comparison. In the meantime, Luke is the death champ.
Who wins the 1v1? Luke has used his ultimate as well, and he's getting Spike down. This could be a very close one, but Spike picks it up in the Death Realm. The Kai'Sa is the king, and he proves that once again. This time, he's the one on the Kai'Sa, and he's killing Luke. 4-0 and 1 on the Mordekaiser now. He's a scary metal boy.
The Rylai is doing so much work there. Luke even with
oh no, Zephora has to run away from Zed. Does manage to turn halfway invisible, but misses the con.
Not quite going to commit the death mark to the support here, instead of waiting for one of the more vulnerable carries. Will allow Hoshiumi to get the dragon in
the weakland comes on his own. And while the death from below did miss, he does fall to Weasel, who is his team's one hope of winning this game at the moment.
Alright, I mean, Weasel's going to do really well with this mid-game spike, but unfortunately wasn't able to close out Axel in the early game like you would have hoped the Castavaris would be able to. So we're going to see a pretty interesting mid-game. The Cloud Dragon doesn't do a lot for Varus' spacing.
We have to say though, even though it's 3 dragons to nothing, and 12 to 5 kills, it's quote-unquote only 2,000 gold at the moment. Oh, great hook onto Hoshiumi, but the flank is there from the Mordekaiser. He's in the middle of the enemy team, and Hoshiumi is shut down already, but Spike Spiegel's unstoppable. Just bringing down the mace onto Z-Man, and here comes the flank. Likan here, he uses a death mark on Weasel. Can he get away? Scatter the Weak saves the AD carry, as on the flank, Zephora has fallen to Axel. And though Weasel survived, it's still not what his team wanted from this fight.
Definitely not letting Likan go down there. It was a great move. Freezy's exhaust not quite being able to capitalize on the kill, instead saving himself. And a bit of a mid-game hodgepodge, really. Neither team achieving their goals, and both left with a bit of a bitter taste.
Yeah, it still is advantage Horizon though. They have the dragons, they have the lead, which keeps growing bit by bit, slowly, very, very slowly. But they still have to contain the kills somehow.
Definitely. Spike, definitely a huge threat. The Rylai is already securing the solo kill, and Luke still on the first item, not completing his Ginsus here. Even when he does, it's not the item that really makes KO pop off. It will enable everything that comes after, and enables the 1v1 damage, but you still need something to make her absolutely go. Sometimes it's a death cap, sometimes it's another source of AP. Ooh, you can go wit's end here. There's all sorts you can do, but you have to have something that makes the
Yeah.
Ginsu's worth it.
Yeah, definitely. But at the moment, he's not even finished that yet,
No,
so
it's
he's gonna have to
really,
stay on the sideline for quite a while. Now, Con here could be caught in the middle of a rock and a hard place. Flashes away, turns around to get the dredge line because Spike Spiegel is around the corner. And here comes Axel from the flank, but he's flanked himself by Sephora.
How many
Everybody's
flanks can you flanking.
yeah, everybody's running away too. So a bunch of flashes, but no kills.
Are we gonna see a Baron here from Horizon? That is a oh. I think it's like 4 suspected for a second and then thought better of it, but maybe should look at his instincts. This is going completely unnoticed. Horizon can sneak this one away.
Yeah, they're not contesting. They're not even trying to get vision. This Baron is for free, and that is what I call a sneaky one. A good one for Horizon though. It grows their lead to 3,500, and now they have the Baron buff to push with, and it's
This might be
getting dicier and
slog.
dicier.
Okay, so we'll see a bit of a reset in the mid game. This Baron
25
buff.
for the Baron, pretty huge.
Right, for lane assignments here, things get a bit weird. Horizon definitely want to try and pick onto something. We will push up to the mid T2 quite handily. I'm not really sure how they can get in here though. Just Weasel's wave clear won't be too badly affected. Freezy still on the side, will be very vulnerable. Does have the stopwatch available now though, so Leafeon should not be able to just hop straight in there.
Oh, good hook, but Spike is someone you don't want too close to you if you're Zyphora, so he chooses to run away after getting that hook over the wall. It did look cool.
The Edge of Night with the Proto Belt. Weasel now unshielded from that first.
Oh, here comes the hook, and ult immediately onto Z-Man to not have to fight against more people than one. Cast gets him away though, and he will survive the Realm of Death, and now Spike is against 4 people. Kale's on him! Can he get away? It does not look good, and he's shut down by Luke, and that is something they desperately needed.
Desperately. This might be the clean reversal here. Hoshiumi off to the south side.
Oh, that was pretty far forward. Zed is on his flank.
Diving to make it.
Here is Hoshiumi, gets the stun onto Kale, but Luke does not really care that much at that moment.
He's already with
Knockup
the
lands,
explore.
here comes Hoshiumi, they really want Weasel, but he has to ult away immediately using that Chrono Break because he could not get enough damage onto Weasel, who used the exhaust in the nick of time, and so no deaths on the side of Paradox for now. They are holding on despite Horizon having Baron, but this could be the soul.
I think it will be the uncontested soul. Paradox still licking their wounds, not looking fantastic right now. We'll let that one go over. Be a 27-minute soul, so not the fastest in the world, but fast
Still
enough, I
pretty
think. Still pretty quick.
And the first time in this series we have a Dragon Soul going over as well.
Oh,
We had
didn't
3
know
versus 3 dragons if I recall correctly in the first game.
correct. It went so late, I got confused for a moment. Okay.
Oh, Zyphora could be caught. Dredgeline misses after
Yeah,
a good flash away, but I don't think he wants to recall there. Likan is still on the hunt.
Interestingly enough, Luke's Ginsus is finished. It looks to be going for the Nash's Tooth. That's the AP damage onto the auto attacks. It's pretty useful at this stage in the game. Pretty core build.
It does seem necessary as well, as the Syndra is not opting for a build to do tons of damage.
Oh, the
Oh,
need
they
to-
are looking for this invade here.
in the middle there. I'm not really sure if I'd have preferred to see Zhonya's complete in a second stopwatch abort instead. But we'll see how that goes.
is pretty strong still, even though he died there. It was still 4 versus 1. He almost killed the jungler.
So, really importantly, what have we seen this Baron buff do?
Absolutely goddamn nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Not able to crack much infrastructure. We have seen the bottom T2 go down, but bottom T2 is not the most significant objective in the world.
Yeah. So they have not grown their lead. It's still 2,500, and this Kayle keeps scaling. She's almost level 16. The time is running out for Horizon. They have caught Zyphora though. No death mark used, and so he survives. Good dash away. Good escape from this Pyke. He really knows how to use these dashes.
Yeah, definitely making sure he sees what's going on out there. Reports back to his team in good time. Umbral making it so easy to sweep things away. Racking up an 82 vision score in a 29-minute game. Not bad at all.
Yeah, that's pretty big. 58 on the side of Connell, so not that bad. But absolutely dwarfed by Zyphora. Of course, with the Umbral Glaive, the numbers always get a bit inflated.
That bush must be the most warded thing ever. I think that's the third one. Just slightly wide. Lycaon will think better of it. The mid lane now.
Yeah, they're gonna push this in. This tower falls after the Baron's long gone. Hook lands onto Weasel, but he had the protection from his item. But now the dive is on Z-Man with a good cast to survive, and here comes Kayle. Z-Man's got the kill credit on the Spike Spiegel, but this was Ignis. Luke's ones, and now the blue team has to run away as quickly as they can. The Kayle's on their heels, the Chrono Break, can it get something? No, Weasel ults himself, and Hoshiumi falls. And this is what I was talking about. The time's running out. Luke is getting bigger and bigger.
Bigger and bigger, the Kayle will maintain a presence in these team fights, able to swipe away and make sure that 3 for 2 stays perfectly balanced in just their favor.
Yeah, a great damage output as well from Weasel, surviving there, weaving around the fight on the flanks there, just shooting these arrows away, but Luke is massive at this point in the game.
You wonder, when your Z is 4-0-1, it seems really good, but if you can't find that death mark, it's not going to be really effective as we carry on forwards.
Yeah, definitely. It looked really, really good for him for a while, but since he's gotten that 4th kill, that solo kill onto Freezy in the bot lane, he's not been able to accomplish much. He's not sitting in side lanes. And I don't think he can sit in a side lane against this Kayle.
We'll have to see. Interestingly enough, Axel scaling quite well as well. We're seeing 3 items. The Mirror Mana completed. Wasn't able to make great use of it. Khan is thinking about it.
Well, so Zyphora versus Khan, this is a matchup we had earlier. There was an Nautilus involved, but on the other side. And here comes the cavalry. Axel is here, Hoshiumi as well. It's 2v3. Great cast. Looked it, but just brought the enemy onto himself and onto Weasel, who has to run tail away. Double kill goes over to Axel. Deathmark now lands onto Weasel. No chance of escaping. Luke versus Spike is again the fight in the bot lane. They both have used their ultimates. The Death Realm is almost over. Luke has to flash away. Flash behind from Spike, and a solo kill for him. The Kayle is still vulnerable to the Mordekaiser, and everybody's still alive on the side of Horizon. They're pushing in the inhibitor.
Looks like it will be the inhibitor. Hopefully, Paradox keeping a keen eye on those death timers. They will be looking to just come up in the nick of time to stop Nexus Towers going down. It doesn't matter. Horizon not willing to commit here. Instead, they will back off and contested Baron.
Yeah, I don't think there's any chance to contest here. Z-Man is going to zoom out the face, probably, to maybe try and get a smite steal, but this Baron does look like it's theirs.
No teleports available. Won't be the repeat of the double teleport deny from last game. Interestingly enough, Hoshiumi doing well. We'll Chrono Break for a little health, but it's more than enough to get that Baron down. And we have 50 seconds on that all-important Elder Dragon.
Yeah, they've got the soul, which makes them speedy. They've got 20% cooldown reduction on their ultimates. They have the extra damage from the 1 Infernal Drake and the bit of protection from the Mountain Drake, and then now as well the Baron buff. Along their 4,500 gold lead. There's not much that can go wrong for them at the moment, but still they have to look out for these team fights because Kayle is on 3 items and has a stopwatch as well.
There's an Elder Dragon in 25 seconds, and Z-Man is top lane.
Interesting. Oh, Zyphora is on himself. He's on the wrong side of things. Lycaon is on the chase.
Unfortunately,
And
Pyke a little fast.
Yeah, he's pretty fast, but he's not where the fighting is at the moment. Z-Man has to be careful to not just die to the Mordekaiser.
Chunking
the Rambles
opposing
is available. So
the objective. Always so useful. The shield will be
More
popped
time to
here.
look around. Oh, here comes the Kaiser, and he gets the kill onto Kong. Weasel's already dead now. Zafora is marked to die from Likan. And I don't think Kale can do anything if 2 of his team, 3 of his team are dead. Great kill for Axel, who's unstoppable now on this Kaiser. It looked a slow start, but he's 7-1 at the moment. And the Elder Dragon will fall to them as well. Every neutral objective has gone to them this game, and they're, at the moment, absolutely stomping. It took them a while to ramp up, but now with a 7,000 gold lead, the Soul, the Elder, and the Baron, it does look like their game.
Is ready for Axel as well. Look to see something spicy happen under this turret. It won't be started with the depth charge from Khan, but maybe a dredge line instead. We look to close this one out. Not long on the death times for Zyphora, Weasel, and Z-Man.
Yeah, they get this inhibitor. Red one falls. It's the second one. The super minions are piling in from the mid lane as well. The Baron buff is still on. Mordekaiser's mid, and this is a double wave. One super minion, one cannon minion. His first Nexus tower is under fire. Can try kill the clear the minions quick enough. The respawns have come in. Zyphora's in the middle of things. He's already dead. And now Z-Man's probably dead as well. Axel is ulted forward to kill him. There's a double kill for Spike. Likan's
Great work from Lee. Every to get the lead out of the fight. All the cooldowns are burned, and I think that will be just enough for the game.
Nexus falls.
That will be a
2-0 for Horizon. Their second win of the season, now 2-1. Unfortunately for Paradox, they're now 1-3, which is not looking great for the rest of the season. Great game though from Horizon. This time they were in control throughout the whole game. Only one small hiccup, but heavy
Hey,
performance.
that's the hiccup that Gragas never quite recovering, allowing Hoshimi to be the king of the jungle and Lycaon to go completely deathless on this Zed and apply so much pressure across the map. It unfortunately was just a little bit too much this time.
Yeah, the Kale did not have enough time to completely take over the game, and Spike was throughout this whole game always just one step ahead, so he could always solo kill him in the death realm.
A little too much this time. Congratulations to Horizon Shadow, a swift 2-0, I think. Mostly completely objective play, but hey, don't fix it if it ain't broken.
Yeah, 2 times. The only champ 2 times on their team was the Echo, and Hoshiyumi showed us why he likes to pick that. Even though he fell behind a bit early with Axel probably accidentally taking this red buff, he did get that win.
All right, as we do see on screen, remember to click any hype or fail plays you enjoyed from this set. Send them over to Drago or Cliff, and we will get them added to the production reel and show them in the future.
Yeah, but now for the age-old spicy question: player of the series for you, who and why?
Ooh, I'm going to accidentally open Windows Explorer instead of clicking on League of Legends. You think about this one. I think Lycaon, again, a fantastic performance in this mid lane. Not always up the front in this one and dealing tons of damage, but always applying that pressure, being that constant threat throughout, and not making the mistake of forcing fights and forcing his participation when he didn't necessarily need to. Fortunately, Freezy, a bit of a rough one this game. I'm going to give my MVP vote to Lycaon. I don't know about you. I think Zyphora had a pretty good performance this game. Unfortunately, did stall out and become a bit of fodder for Lycaon. Spike had a pretty good showing. There was a bit of a lull there around level 6 where things maybe could have gone better. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I think for this game, if it were only game 2, I'd give it to Spike. He's made a lot of things happening. He's turned around that fight bot lane with his teleport, and he's completely dismantled Luke on that Kale. But overall for the series, I'd give it to Lycaon as well. He's been standout in both games. He's not died in the second one, and even though Zed does have quite a difficult time the longer the game goes, here against Weasel's Edge of Night and 3 Zhonya's or 2 Zhonya's in the stopwatch, he still managed to find the important picks at the right time. So, yeah, if there was a player of the series for me, it's Lycaon for the side of Horizon.
All right, are we so I'm going to show my age again here. Are we cutting to an interview, or are we all done for this evening?
Yeah, I don't think there's an interview set up for today.
Interview
all
today.
right.
Thank you, production. Always whispering in our ears, fixing everything. Okay, on that, any closing notes other than wow, that was an Ocean Soul? That didn't happen.
Yeah, we got one, right?
Great.
Great showing overall from Horizon Shadow. They've shown a lot of variety in their play. Played a bunch of different champions and still made them work. They got better as time went on. So my question for the future is: are they able to challenge Centurion and Plague, who have been sitting atop this league fairly unchallenged? Plague only dropping to Centurion and Centurion not losing any series. Will Horizon be able to challenge these two? This is my question going forward for the rest of the season.
So I'm not sure. I haven't watched much of the top games, but I think both teams showed some cracks that can definitely be exploited. And I think the top teams that are looking to win the league will probably make the most of those. And I don't really see it working out quite in their favor.
Well, there's always chances to improve, and that is what makes this league so interesting. Sometimes teams start off very, very bad and then suddenly win. So definitely matches to look forward to when Horizon especially meets up against the supposedly stronger teams in the future. And so this is it from me for today. I've been Morjo. I've been with Temporal. Any closing words from you?
It's been a pleasure. Let's do it again soon. And hopefully Kale will pop off next time. I do enjoy it.
Yeah, Kale Popov always looks good. We are going to be back on Monday, if I recall correctly. We're hoping to see you there again. We've been enjoying this very, very much, and we're looking forward for the next ones. Good night from Valence League.
All right. Deal well with the heat. It's horrid.